What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing this lovely night and stuff like that? This is your boy Reg in the building. Got my homegirl Ash with me. Got my homeboy Try with me.
What up?
That's good.
And today we're gonna do something a little different. Today we're gonna talk about like our top 50, excuse me, top 50 sitcoms of all time. This is kind of something I've really wanted to do recently. Just because just want to do something a little different and whatnot, and just interested in seeing what people be watching when they're bored or when there's nothing else on and whatnot too. So, we're gonna have like a lot of sitcoms ranging from like back in the day, like 50s up to today and stuff like that. Some stuff y'all might be surprised to be watching, but you know what? We always surprise people in this channel. So, alright. So I want to start. We're going to say like the two sitcoms. We just want to start with two sitcoms each and stuff like that. Just keep it consistent.
All right.
Alright. So my number 50 on top 50 sitcoms of all time. I'm gonna take it back. Take it back to the 80s with Night. Yeah, man. Night Court was a sitcom that ran on NBC from 1984 to 1992. It starred Harry Anderson, rest in peace to Harry Anderson. John LaRoquette, Marky Post, Charles Robinson, Marsha Warfield, and so on and so on. This was around the time when NBC had the whole musty TV and shit like that. You know what I'm saying, with the Cheers and the Cosby Show, and Night Court was kind of like a show that kind of, I mean, it was popular, but it wasn't like popular as like those aforementioned shows and shit, because it was like a lot more zanier, wilder and shit like that too. I love this show. I usually am a fan like season 3 to season 7 and whatnot. All my Cameron fans, y'all should know about that. The theme song was used for the remix for Horse and Carriage too. So yeah, man. Fucking Night Court, classic show. That's my number 50. My number 49. This might come as a shock to a lot of people, but I'm gonna go with Blackish. And that's my number 49 pick. It's a sitcom that ran from 2014 and it's still running today. It stars Anthony Anderson, Tracy Ellis Ross, Lawrence Fishburne, you know, Marsha Martin, and so on and so on. This show right here is pretty much you're talking about upper middle class African American family. It's based off Kenya Barris' life. Who y'all should know who Kenya Barris is. If y'all fans of America's Next Top Model, you should know definitely who he is. He also done like a lot of writing and shit like that too. So yeah, man, very, very, very dope show. I like it. I kind of realized that this show is kind of gaining more and more in popularity these days because this is the whole reemergence Black Lives Matter movement, and so a lot of the topics on the show, like they talk about like police brutality and whatnot, so on and so on, and just what it means to be black in America and stuff too. So yeah, very, very dope show on Blackish. So yeah.
All right, I got number 50 for me is Sister Sister. Love that show. T and Tamara, and lasted like 6 seasons on back when the CW was called the WB, and you know Jack A. Harry. I remember Jack A. from 227 and Amen, and that was a big show, and Tim Curry. Is it Tim Curry? Isn't it?
Tim Reed.
Tim
Tim
Reed.
Reed, and like him having one sister and Jack A having one sister, and then bring them together. And we had Roger on there by Marquise Houston, and it was just a great show. Just I've had a lot of fun like watching that show. Back in the day with the Wayans brothers and all those other shows that was on there, and that was a good show. Um, Definitely one of the best black sitcoms of that time. Um, Number 49 for me would be Benson. I
Ooh,
watched that when I was younger, like uh, like 7 seasons I came on, and Robert Guillaume playing Benson, and it was good. I don't remember like all the stuff on Benson. I was like I like watched it a lot when I was younger, but I just remember like him being like the center of attention on that show, and he was hilarious. You know what I'm saying? And that's like a great '80s show. And I don't think that gets a lot of credit. I think with Benson, it was like being that he was like the black butler or whatever. Before Jeffrey on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, it was like he. I don't really hear like black people in general like talk about that show. I mean, because he was the black
right.
butler for the family, and you know what I mean. But I think it was a good show. I think like Mr. Belvedere. I like Mr. Belvedere, but Mr. Belvedere like kind of reminded me of Benson too. You know what I'm saying? So it was like he was like the Mr. Belvedere was like the white butler for, and Benson was like the black one. But I like Benson more, and I never saw the other sitcom he was on, Soap. I never saw that one, but
Oh man, that show was funny.
Benson was good. So those two like my 50 and 49 for me.
Okay.
Yeah, my number 50 is a show that used to be on UPN as well. It ran from 2001 to 2006, and it was a show I guess when I grew up watching when I was like in middle school and stuff like that. I picked One on One with Kyla Pratt and Flex Alexander, even though I know a lot of people give him a whole lot of flack because of who he is, and but you get to see Kyla Pratt like doing her thing because you know her from, of course, she was in commercials for WNBA, and of course she was in Doctor Doolittle movies, and she had like guest appearances on Smart Guy, and of course she was Penny Proud on the Proud Family and stuff like that. But you get to see her because when the show started, she was like much of like a tomboy on the show, and then as the years went on, you get to see her, I guess, being a little more girl on the girly side and all that. But I feel like it was a good show, knowing because it's not I guess showing like that father daughter dynamic, because it was a little bit of like a relatable show to me because it reminds me of moments I had with my dad growing up, and just the fact that their relationship on the show kind of reminded me of how my relationship with my dad is on the show. But even though I know the final season, it was it was something I was not expecting at the time, but it is what it is. It had a had a decent run, as I would say, but
Right.
it's just one of those shows that I'll never get tired of. My number 49 pick is a show that used to be on Nickelodeon during the 90s, but it was a short-lived show, but I wish it would have like ran like more seasons. It was called My Brother and Me. And the interesting thing about that show is that this the way it took place, it's based around on this family known as the Parkers, who lived on the west side of my hometown of Charlotte, North Carolina, which was kind of cool because I did not know that for the longest time. But I know one of the cast members on the show, one of the girls, I can't think of her name right now, but I remember her because she used to play Kenan Thompson's sister on Kenan and Kel back in the day as well. But other than that, I haven't seen that girl since then. But it was a pretty good family show for anyone who has kids to watch it.
Yeah, man, like my brother. I've never actually seen an episode of My Brother and Me, but I've heard so much good things about that show.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
crazy thing is they have it out on DVD, but I'm gonna have to look to see for
Yeah,
myself.
yeah. I know it's kind of hard to find on DVD and shit, but at least it's out on DVD. I'm grateful
Yeah,
about that.
yeah.
So that was some very good choices, y'all. Okay.
Hmm.
All right. So my number 48 pick might be another controversial choice, but it's a sitcom that was very popular. I want to say late 80s to 90s. Um, a lot of people have called this show like the modern version of the Mary Tyler Moore show. I pretty much, I never thought I would actually like this show because when it used to come on Nick and Night when I was younger, I was kind of like, eh. But growing up now, I found it to be very funny. It's actually Murphy Brown. Um, show ran from 1988 to 1998, and it was shortly revived from 2008, but it was canceled again in 2019. All right, so Murphy Brown, man. This show starred on Candice Bergman, dope actress by the way. Keith Ford, Charles Kimborough, so on and so on. Ran on CBS. Very dope show. A lot of people either love this show, and I know a lot of people either hate this show because it was quote unquote like too political at times, which I can sort of agree with because like you can definitely tell like we're influenced by like the whole TM, like the Mary Tyler Moore, and then like the Norman Lear shows like On the Family and Maude and whatnot. This show kind of got a lot of controversy back in 1992. I think it was before the fifth season because Murphy was pregnant like during the fourth season, and she was a single mom. And the governor at that time, Dan Quayle, pretty much said how she was a bad role model for women, just paraphrasing what he said. And a single mom should not be with child or shit like that. And so they pretty much lampooned him in the fifth season opening and shit like that too. So yeah, man. Very funny show. You know what I'm saying? It's like very well written. I like this show. It's classic, classic, classic show in my opinion. Yeah, Murphy Brown. But I mostly watch like the earliest of everything. Like the first four seasons are my favorite, and the sixth season, everything else is kind of hit or miss at times, But not taking anything away from that. Number 47. This is a show that was holding ABC down like the last decade and whatnot. I want to say this is Modern Family. Modern Family is a show that ran from 2009 and it recently ended in 2020. Wow. So yeah, man, it stars Ed O'Neill. Y'all should know Al Bundy from Married with Children. Stay tuned on that show later on. Sophia Vergara, Julie Bowen, Ty Burrell, um, hella people in this fucking cast, man. Like it's one of my favorite ensemble sitcoms in recent years. Cause like the 2000s, like this show debuted like in the late 2000s, but a lot of shows that debuted in the 2000s was kind of hit on. It was a lot of weak shit in the 2000s and stuff. Um, but this one was like a very dope surprise and shit like that. Just talking about like a blended family. Like you have the older Ed O'Neill's character dating like the Sophia Vergara's have like a very mixed relationship. Then you have like the conventional um white couple and stuff like that, and then you have the gay couple and shit. Yeah, man, very, very, very funny show. I must admit, I kind of fell off during like the later seasons because like I kind of got a little bored within like maybe season 5 or season 6. So my knowledge might be not be 100% during like the later seasons. But I'm just glad it still
Man,
maintained its popularity and shit. And believe it or not, it's actually ABC's longest running comedy series. So that's saying something right there.
that's it.
Yeah, that's my 48 and 47.
Hmm.
48 for me is Hanging Mr. Cooper. I think that's the most underrated show that used to come on TGIF when ABC had that lineup running on Fridays during the 90s. starring Mark Curry and Don Lewis from A Different World, and
Mhm.
Omar Gooden, Raven Simone was on that show as well.
Yeah.
Um, I think it was a good show. Mark Curry was actually an NBA player, played for the Warriors back in the day when they were bad, and he took his life story basically and put it into a show, a sitcom like that, and I think it was good. Holly Robinson, Pete was also on that show.
Mhm.
I used to watch 21 Jump Street, and that's how I knew her. And I thought it was a good show. I think I don't hear nobody like mention that show when it comes to like ABC's Friday night lineup. It was mostly Full House and Family Matters, but people forgot about this show. You know what I mean? And I thought it was good. It lasted like 5 seasons. Um, I thought it was a pretty good show. 47 for me is Silver Spoons with Ricky Schroeder and Alfonso Ribeiro.
Oh wow.
I watched this when I was really young. So I don't remember it too much. I remember like I think Ricky Schroeder's family was rich or something,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
his dad
Alfonso
was
was
rich.
like his friend, his black friend or whatever.
Mhm.
But I don't really remember like too many things about. I remember like watching it a lot and seeing Ricky Schroeder grow up and he later starred on NYPD Blue, and
Yep.
Alfonso went to
Fresh Prince.
LA, huh?
Yeah, he went to Fresh Prince, and then
Yeah,
after
Fresh
Fresh
Prince. And
Prince, he was
he did
on
the Michael Jackson Pepsi commercial when he was little, and
yeah.
he was like a tap dancing star and all that, and
Yep.
you know what I mean. But I mean I like the show. I just don't remember like episodes like that.
Mhm.
So I just basically have like a lot of shows where like I watched it a lot, but some of them I don't remember like a lot of episodes. But they were like my favorite though. But yeah, Silver Spoons was definitely one of my favorites back then, and it was a good. That lasted 5 seasons also. That was a good show. That's my 48 and 47.
Yeah, my number 48 is another classic Nick show I remember watching when I was growing up. It was Clarissa Explains It All, starring Melissa Joan Hart.
Oh,
Yeah,
Uh,
this was years before we knew her as Sabrina the Teenage Witch, you know.
right.
Yeah, the show was pretty much, I think, ahead of its time. It ran from 91 to 94. And of course, the show dealt with issues with pretty much any average adolescent boy or girl was going through, like stuff like when it comes to, I guess, talking with peers of the opposite sex or whatever, and going through puberty, having an annoying sibling at times, or she even, I know there was an episode when she talked about getting her first training bra. Like, girls can relate to that, so yeah. But the show was pretty much ahead of its time. There were like so many episodes I remember watching during that. I think that Snick lineup when I was a kid, it was just so, the show was just amazing. Even though it ran for 5 seasons during a very short timeline, but still, it's hands down one of my favorite Nick shows today. Number 47 is number 47. I put City Guys. It was a show on NBC. Yeah, back in the day, it ran from the late '90s till the early 2000s. It starred Wesley Jonathan and I'm trying to think, what was that other guy's name? Yeah, it was Wesley Jonathan and Scott White. For those who don't know, excuse me, who Wesley Jonathan is, he's an actor. He's been in a couple of numerous shows back in the '90s and in the 2000s and what have you. He had like at least 2 or 3 guest appearances on Sister Sister back in the day. He was after City Guys ended, he was on another sitcom known as What I Like About You with Amanda Bynes and Jenny Garth from Beverly Hills 90210 that ran for a certain number of years as well. And of course, we know him on film, him being Sweetness and Roll Bounce. He was Noah Cruz and crossover with Anthony Mackie and Wayne Brady. For those who haven't known that, but it was Show City Guys. Pretty much is about two different guys going to the same high school, both from the opposite sides of the tracks, what have you. Scott White is the rich, um, the rich kid of the school, and of course Wesley Jonathan is from characters from the hood, you know. And like the first episode, they were bumping heads, but after that first episode, and as the series progressed, they became the best of friends, you know, going through certain situations pretty much anyone in high school goes through, so to speak.
Mm.
Yeah, I didn't see the show when it originally aired because I was very young at the time. But it originally aired on NBC. But I knew a few years back BET was running the reruns like on Saturday mornings or something like that. But ever since then, I have yet to see it still being shown to date. I don't know if they have the show on DVD or what.
Yeah, man. From what I know about City Guys, I don't think the show was on DVD and shit like that. But because they're always up Saved by the Bell's asshole and shit. So
Oh my God, yes.
the same dude Peter Engel, he made
Yeah.
City Guys too.
Yeah, that was what another thing I forgot to mention. Yeah, Peter Engel Productions. Yep.
Right. But yeah, man. Definitely some good choices and some shit like that. Yeah, try. I was not expecting Silver Spoons on some real shit. I was not expecting that.
I have a lot of surprises on this list.
All right. Well,
Same here.
same. Okay. I'm loving. I'm loving this. I'm loving this. Okay. So my number 46 is an 80s sitcom. It starred a comedian that died a couple years ago. Um, Pretty much, it was like it's a satire of sitcoms. It's Gary Shandling's show. Yeah.
Oh wow.
It ran on show. Oh, you heard about that show?
Yeah.
Yeah, because there
Okay.
was I think like a documentary on Gary Shandling sometime before or around his passing.
Okay. Yeah, man. Unfortunately, it's crazy because I was more of a fan of the Larry Sanders Show, which is his most known sitcom. But like with the whole Animaniacs Tiny Toon syndrome, the one that started it all kind of gets shot away from a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It went from 86 to 1990 on Showtime. It starred Gary Shandling, Jeffrey Blake, Molly Creek, Jessica Harper, Paul Wilson was on the show too. Yeah, very very funny classic show. It's like he knows this nigga knows he's in a sitcom and he does like monologues and shit. Um, it's a very creative show for the time and stuff like that, especially for like the 80s and stuff too, because at that time the 80s was the era of the very special episodes or the rich families. But I think sometime around like the late 80s, where you had shows like Married with Children and Roseanne, and the show kind of like made us get ready for like sitcoms decades to come and shit. Just the in your face scrutiny, the middle finger to Cosby kind of deal and shit. But um, yeah, man, very very dope show. I love this show. I admit last season was trash in my opinion, but it, yeah, it is what it is. Like a lot of people started on this show too. Like you had Gilda Radner and what was her final TV appearance. Tom Petty was on the show at the time. Bob Reiner. Don Cornelius actually appeared on the show, surprisingly. So
Oh wow.
yeah, so very very dope show. It's Gary Shandling show, and it had one of my favorite theme songs of all time. This is theme to Gary show. Theme to Gary. Like y'all know that. Y'all know that theme song. I'm not gonna sing, but the next show, I'm just gonna put it quickly. This is a show that Friends stole in Living Single.
Oh yes.
Yes, Living Motherfucking Single That ran from Fox 1993 to 1998. It was canceled New Year's Day, 1998. What
Lord.
the fuck? Yeah, Happy New Year. By the way,
Yeah,
you're
wow. What a way
canceled.
to bring in the new year, 98, knowing that the show got canceled. Like, dang, really?
Yeah, man.
Hmm.
Okay, so pretty much the show starred Queen Latifah, Kim Coles, Erica Alexander, T.C. Carson, John Henson, Kim Fields. I'm not even going to mention Mel Jackson. Fuck Mel Jackson. I'm not even going to mention.
Oh, Lord.
I'm sorry. I was reading off Wikipedia and shit. So
No, you're good. You're good.
yeah. So it started off. It's about four girls living in, I want to say, New York. I want to say like New York City.
Yeah.
No, Brooklyn. Excuse me,
Brooklyn,
I'm
yep.
tripping. Brooklyn. Yeah, I have memories. Me and my sister used to watch the show back when Oxygen had it was Oxygen and shit like that.
Yeah,
Right.
same here, man.
Yep. Like when I was at first, I was like living single. It was like that girl sitcom, but now growing up, it's like a very funny show. And one thing I've always loved about this show,
Mm-hmm.
my favorite character has always been Kyle. It's
Yeah.
just the fact that there was one episode where he had to like do something with shave his hair off to get like a position.
Yeah, there was an issue with his hair. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't want to because it was like his identity or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's a shame because once he left, well, excuse me, once he was fired from the show, yeah, that's when the show went downhill because that I might have to do a review on Living Single one day
Yeah.
and shit like that because like, I know a lot of people want me to do some sitcom reviews, but long story short, that was around the time when Fox was trying to whitewash the show. Let me just say that.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know where I'm getting at and shit like that. But
Mm-hmm.
shout out to Yvette Lee Bowser. Shout out to her and shit like that. One of my all-time favorite sitcoms. Like I feel like without this show, you wouldn't have shows like Girlfriend and
Yeah.
Insecure and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Very dope show.
Yeah. Number 46 for me is another TGIF show that went under the radar. Step by Step, starring
Yeah.
Patrick Duffy and Suzanne Summers. And I thought it was a good show, a family show. Not the same as Family Matters, but it was it was uh it was good. I liked the show and their kids. Patrick Duffy's character, he had his set of kids that he brought into the marriage, and Suzanne Summers had her set of kids, and they had to like coexist together as one whole family. And it was a good show. I liked it. I didn't again another one that I didn't really hear people mention. I thought that was a good one. And my 45 for me is Sanford and Son, classic show. I love that show. Rest in peace, Red Fox.
Mm-hmm.
Starring him and Desmond Wilson. And I mean, man, that's a show that I grew up on, and just watching it with my grandparents and laughing for hours. And they was it Red Fox? He owned the junkyard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
He's the only
And
one.
yeah, that should. I thought it's a classic show, man. That's a nice classic '70s show that if people don't know it, they should definitely go back and watch it. And he was a great comedian as well. And that lasted 6 seasons. Step by Step lasted 7 seasons. And yeah, that's a classic show. I have to definitely put that on the list because I remember watching it when I was younger, and I remember when Red Fox passed away. So that was like a big blow to the comedian community and all that. So
And he was just having a comeback too, man. That was crazy.
right,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, my number 46 was a show that used to be on ABC around the early 2000s as well, and it features Damon Wayans. I'm pretty sure y'all know what it is. My Wife and Kids. When it started out, the first season, I'll admit it was good, but of course, I know there are plenty of issues going on when they recasted the role of Claire from Jazz Ray Cole to Jennifer Nicole Freeman. You know, I know people were feeling some type of way about that, but overall, I felt like it was a good family show. It'll kind of remind you of other sitcoms surrounded by families, and it was just, I don't know, it was just something about that particular show that I don't know, because I noticed they play episodes of it a lot. I know they did. They originally, I guess, running reruns on BET at some point, and then MTV too.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But even though I know a lot of people be saying the show was whack or whatever because of Damon's character as the dad or whatever, but all in all, it was an alright show during its run. And my number 45 is another Nickelodeon show that ran during the 2010 era, but to me, it was a good show. Victoria, starring Victoria Justice, and that show had people such as Ariana Grande, Avon Jogia, Matt Bennett, um, Elizabeth Gillies, so on and so on. It was pretty much telling about Victoria Justice's character getting into a performing arts school known as Hollywood Arts, and of course, when she first gets there, she's of course the new kid. She kind of feels like she doesn't belong at the school, but over time, she's grown as a student there, as well as gaining some friends and all this that and the third. But even though the show didn't run that long, I think it ran for like 3 seasons. It was all around good show.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Very dope choices. Very dope choices as well. I have to be real with you. Like, I was not expecting Victorious. I was not expecting. I guess low key to me, my wife and kids. I think to me, I was just. It's like one of those shows that tries so hard to be like the Cosby Show. Like,
Yeah, yeah, that was another thing I
situation.
neglected to mention. It kind of reminds you of that as well, but they were pushing it way too much.
Right. Like with the Parenthood, the Robin Townsend show.
Hmm.
It had the Cosby syndrome, but it had its own identity at the same time too.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But like I said, I'm not hating this shit because everyone's opinion matters and shit. But alright. So my next one, we at number 44.
Yep.
Yep.
Uh, this is a show that was aired at NBC during the mid to late '90s. A lot of people kind of compared it to WKRP in Cincinnati a little bit, and it's called News Radio. Um,
Oh, I heard that show.
yes, show starred Dave Foley, Stephen Root, the late and great Phil Hartman, rest in
Yep.
peace.
Yeah.
Um, Andy Dick when he was
Mhm.
funny and shit. The underrated Candy Alexander, Morris
Yeah.
Tyranny. I mean, this show right here is one of the most underrated, well written, well balanced sitcoms I've seen. It was unapologetic. It's like the darker, twisted version of Friends. That's the best way to explain the show. And I know because it's crazy because like NBC really trying to make the creator like Phil Paul Sims like, oh, this has to be like Friends because Friends at that time was like the popular show. God knows why, but
Mm.
yeah. So this show right here was like very offbeat, very quirky and whatnot. Um, classic show. Of course, y'all should know Phil Phil Hartman. He tragically was murdered during like in between the fourth and fifth season. So they
Yeah.
brought in what's that cat's name? What's that
John
cat's name?
Lovitz.
John Lovitz on the show too, just as to fill him in. But
Yeah.
as funny as the character was, nobody was touching Phil
Phil.
Hartman. I'm
No.
sorry, but yeah, man, this show was definitely one of the best sitcoms you'll ever see from the '90s. I know a lot of people even like this show better than Seinfeld. So
Oh
that's
wow.
just yeah. And then my number 43 pick, I might be surprised by this one. This is a sitcom that ran from like 79 to 88. It's a spinoff from one of the most notorious sitcoms at that time. I'm just going to say the first few lines of the theme song. You take the good, you take the bad, you have them all, and
The
there you
facts of
have.
life.
Right. Yep. Yes. I'm gonna say this once. I'm gonna say this so every y'all can hear me. I like the show better than Different Strokes.
Okay.
I have I
I don't
have to
see
say it because like I know because I like Different Strokes and that's on my top 100 list. But I'm sorry. After a while, it got too damn fucking preachy for me. Too many very special episodes about everything. Whereas like the Facts of Life, yeah, it did have its very special episodes, but it had its slapstick humor and
Yeah.
its conventional humor to balance it out with.
Mm-hmm.
It starred on Charlotte Rae, rest in peace to her, Miss
Yeah.
Garrett, the best maid on Different Strokes. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Kim Fields got her start on the show.
Yep.
Lisa Relkel, very underrated comedian, in my opinion, very underrated in her role. Mindy Kahn, Nancy McKeon, who was the brother of Phil McKeon, who played that little boy on that show, Alice.
Oh.
Later,
I didn't know
you
that.
said what? Yeah,
I
yeah,
used to watch Alice. I
mhm,
didn't know that was her brother.
yeah. I never really got into Alice, but then I knew they kind of looked alike. I had to look it up, see if they're real related, and it's like bingo,
Right,
they was. Because
Mm-hmm.
you know how white people have that certain chin though, but I'm not gonna
right,
say
right.
too much.
Wow.
Later on throughout the series, Charlotte Rae left the role, and then you had Clorence Leachman came on the role and shit too.
Yeah.
Very very dope show. I love this show. This was back when Nick and Night days. Hell, I still watch the show to this day. I don't give a fuck.
Yep.
I know the first season they had like hella girls in the first season.
Yeah.
Like one of the girls included Molly Wingwald,
Yep.
who went on to dominate the '80s and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Breakfast Club, that's a fucking movie right now. I don't give a fuck.
Oh yeah.
I love that movie too.
Love that.
Yep. Yeah, man. Very very cool show. I like the show. Yeah, man. Like it's just so interesting. Like how it seemed like just the different girls from different walks of life living together and whatnot. It was very ahead of its time.
Yeah.
And too, in a weird way, like it kind of predated like a lot of the female-driven shows like Golden Girls and Two Sin and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So, Facts of Life, man. Very, very, very dope show. I love this show.
Number
Hold on,
44 for me.
what black
Huh?
has a name like Judy though? I'm sorry.
I don't know either because
Man.
Kim Fields' character on that show, her actual name is Dorothy, but for some reason they nicknamed her Tootie.
Okay.
Dorothy, that's even worse. Wow.
You don't
Shit.
what?
Dorothy,
Dorothy's a
well,
terrible
a
name.
black girl? Well, I don't know anybody black with a name Dorothy.
What about actress
Yeah, the
Dorothy
way.
Dandridge?
She
Right.
was black.
Yeah.
Don't you know she was
Well,
black?
other than her, I mean,
How
I'm
you not
talking
know she
about
was black?
Diana Ross's
somebody's not a
character from The
celebrity.
Wiz.
Yeah. Diana Ross's character on The Wiz was Dorothy too.
Yeah, but that's the black version. That they already had the white version of the. Oh Lord.
Oh God.
Uh,
Mm.
yeah, number 44 for me is Charles in Charge. This is
Ooh.
a
Oh,
show that I grew to like. I didn't like it in the beginning, but
Mm-hmm.
I grew to like it, like watching it like over time. And Scott Baio was like the guy back then in the 80s, and him playing the caretaker for this family. And Nicole Eggert, she played Jamie, and she ended up doing Baywatch later on. And Willie Adams played his best friend, Buddy. It was a good show. It was a good show. I like the theme song with the that classic theme song with the horns and shit that people liked back then. And it was good. It was a good show. Like, I didn't like it in the beginning, like I said, but I grew up like liking it after a while in syndication. So that was one of my favorites. Amen is number 43 for me. Love that show when I came on with George Jefferson. Rest in peace to I do name. I forgot his name. George Jefferson. He played the
Sherman,
deacon. Huh?
Sherman
Sherman
Hemsley.
Hemsley.
Sherman Hemsley, right? He played the deacon Ernest Fry on Amen, and his daughter forgot her name too. She played Thelma.
Anna Maria Horsford.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
she played
Yeah.
Thelma, and she ended up doing Wayne's Brothers later on,
Yep.
and Clifton Davis, that's his name.
Yeah.
Clifton Davis, he played the Reverend that Thelma had a big crush on all the time, and that was a great show. I remember watching that. Like, I used to come on like Saturday nights on NBC, and that was a good show. That was really popular. I don't hear too many people like you meant like talk about that show, but that was definitely a
It's dope.
good black
Mm-hmm.
show. It had like the whole gospel element to it, and yeah, that was probably the best show I watched on Saturday nights. Cause they didn't really have like a lot of like sitcoms like that for Saturdays. Like, so Saturdays were like considered like the weekend, so people were like going out or whatever. But that was
Mm-hmm.
like the best show, like that and 227, like those two I watched a lot. You know what I mean? And Empty Nest, that was another one I used to watch too. Golden Girls, all of those classic Saturday night sitcoms I watched. But Amen was definitely one of the best ones. So I definitely have to include it on this list.
Yeah, man. I love Amen, man.
Yeah,
Dope show.
Yeah.
yeah,
My number 44 is a show I grew up watching that came on Disney Channel. It stars Raven Simone, and it was That's So Raven. Pretty
yeah.
much that show was about her being a teenage psychic. And the cast of that show was not only her, it was Orlando Brown, Annalise Vanderpool, Ron, Rondell Sheridan, Takia Crystal Kima from A Living Color, and Kyle Massey. Yeah. Yeah, that show ran on for four seasons, and I grew up watching that show. And of course, once that show ended, it had two spinoffs. One of which was Corey in the House, that didn't last too long, and Raven's Home, which I guess is still ongoing, pretty
Mm-hmm.
much. But overall, it was one of the best shows of my childhood. Back when Disney was at its best to me. And my number 43 pick is gonna be a shock to y'all. Give Me a Break, starring Nell Carter. Yep. Yeah.
I have mixed feelings on that show.
I know, I know, I know you do.
Over.
I
Yeah, I
love
know a
Mel
lot of people
Carter.
feel
Don't
some
get me
type of
wrong.
way about that show because I mean, pretty much it's Nell Carter's character pretty much became like I guess the caretaker of this white family's house. Pretty much the father is a police chief police officer, and he needs help with someone to raise his three daughters. And excuse me, pretty much that's what it was. That show was very popular in the '80s, but of course I know the show had its changes, especially since the guy who played the father passed away in midway through I think either season 4 or season 5, one of them seasons. But yeah, but when that whole cast change was happening, of course, the lady who played Rachel from Family Matters, she was on the show. Rosetta Lenore, who was Grandma Winslow, she was on that show as well. And of course, you get to see Joey Lawrence and one of his brothers, Matthew Lawrence, was on that show during the last seasons of that show as well. But yeah, Give Me a Break was something very different, but people still have their reservations on the show, what have you. It was, I guess, one of those shows that was just very popular. But of course, pretty much we saw what was going on with Nell Carter, especially during the earlier seasons, because I know Network was worried about her because of her weight and all that. But yeah, rest in peace to Nell Carter, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Yeah, very dope picks right there. Amen. Like I said, classic show.
Yes.
Give me a break. Like I said, I mostly just watch for Nell Carter and shit like that. She just
Mm-hmm.
elevates that material. I did like the dude who played the chief, Dolph Sweet. He
Yeah.
definitely did his thing on that show too. I loved when he used to get mad and shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah, rest in peace to
Alright,
him.
facts.
Mm-hmm.
My next pick. I don't even know if y'all are fans or heard of this show, but it's a show that ran in the 50s. The Phil Silver Show, aka Sergeant Bilko.
Sergeant
Um,
Bilko.
yeah.
I'm not
Try, you heard of the
familiar
show,
with
Try?
it.
Nah.
I'm not familiar
Oh
with that
shit.
show either.
Okay. Well, pretty much, it ran from 1955 to 1959. Yeah.
Mm.
Um, it starred Phil Silvers, who was like this comedian, very funny comedian. Rest in peace to him. It stars him. He's like the head of the sergeant in the U.S. Army or some shit like that.
Right.
It has a lot of people like Alvin Melvin, whom y'all should know. If y'all watch All in the Family, he played on Barney Hefner.
Mm.
You have Joey E. Ross. It has like a very large ensemble cast and shit. Excuse me. Yeah, this was a very dope show and shit like that. And I don't even have like the best knowledge, but I've seen a few episodes and a few seasons and shit like that. And it was just like one of those shows where dialogue is key and stuff
Right.
like that. Like a lot of quick one-liners and shit like that. And this was like before the Dick Van Dyke Show and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of like 50s sitcoms like Lucy and Honeymoon, they had like a very smooth way of dialogue. Whereas with shows like Sergeant Bilko and Dobie Gillis, the dialogue be going all over. Like they'll say like a lot of shit, like back and forth and shit. You know what I'm saying? Just
Right.
yeah. So yeah, this was a very dope show. Um, Luckily the whole series is on DVD and whatnot too. Shout Factory, this name with that shit. So yeah, man. Number 41 picks, a show from Adult Swim. The Boondocks. Yeah, man, the Boondocks, man. The show ran from 2005 and it ended at 2014. But there's been rumors that they're gonna bring the show back.
Uh-oh.
With right with the recent passing with
John
John
Witherspoon.
Witherspoon. Yep. I don't know if that's plan is still on the table or whatnot.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah. So the Boondocks was a show that was based on Aaron McGruder's comics and whatnot. It starred people like Regina King, John Witherspoon, Gary Anthony Williams, Cedric Yabo, Bill Talley, and Gabby Salil. So it has like a lot of extended cast like Samuel Jackson, Charlie
Charlie
Murphy,
Murphy.
recipe. Yep. Ed Asner, who
Hmm.
played Lou Grant, Tyler Moore show. Um, yeah, man, this was a very, very dope show. It's about how these boys, Huey and Riley, live with their granddad in this white suburb and whatnot. Just them talking about black culture, but at the same time, just the way they do about it and shit like that. Sometimes it's like, yeah, it's satirical, but at the same time, it makes you think about a lot of shit that's going on. Especially if you watch the first season with episodes like Return of the King, the Trial of R. Kelly, which
Oh my god.
very
Oh boy.
perfect episode that's happening today, right now, and shit like that. So, and you guys should know the story about how they had issues with like people like BET because
Hmm.
first the last two episodes of the second season they were going after BET, and that's why those episodes are banned and shit like that.
Oh.
Yeah, and also they had like they pissed off a lot of people like Al Sharpton,
Mm.
Tyler Perry. Yeah, man, like the Boondocks really invents like a lot of things that we use today in pop culture and shit like that. The fourth season, the season without Aaron McGruder sucked.
Yeah.
I don't know what it says. Like you do an episode where Granddad falls in love with an iPhone or whatnot. I'm like, yeah, I'm tuning in. Yeah, this free episode, whatever that weird episode is and shit. But
Yeah.
when the show was at its best, it was
Hmm.
phenomenal. That's
Oh
what I
yeah,
say.
yeah, yeah. Hmm. Yeah, the only thing about that fourth season of that show, the first episode of it when Michael B. Jordan was Pretty Boy Fizzy. That was the only episode I liked. Every other episode after that, I was like, really? Oh my god.
That's not 42 and 41.
Oh god.
That's it.
Yep.
It's on you, man.
All right. 42 for me is Audrey Magini. That's a
Ooh.
show that
Okay.
I definitely enjoyed. Barbara Eden playing this genie that's been freed by Larry Hagman's character, and he played an astronaut, and he ends up freeing her, but she doesn't give him like three wishes. She ends up like just doing whatever she wants with her powers, and saving him from a lot of trouble that he got into, and she ended up falling in love with him. I thought that was a good show back in the day. And I watched. I know it was like in black and white and color, but I watched like a lot of the colored episodes back then. You know, J.R. Ewing. That's the same guy
Oh,
from Dallas.
Larry
J.R.
Hagman.
Ewing. You know, that's lasted like 5 seasons. 41 for me is Who's the Boss. Love that show.
Mm.
Um, that's Tony Danza. For Brooklyn's own Tony Danza,
Yeah.
and he ends up becoming a caretaker. He was like a former baseball player, Tony Maselli, and he ends up taking this job to be a caretaker for his family and helping out a divorced uh, uh, advertising executive with Judith Light. She played forgot what was her name in that show.
Angela.
Angela.
Angela. She played Angela, and Elisa Milano played Samantha, her daughter, and you had Jonathan who played the son, and Mona. Mona was the grandmother. She rest in peace to her.
Yeah.
Her name. Yeah. But
Kathy
that was
Mona.
yeah. Sure, rest in peace to Mona, and um it took place in Connecticut, and that was a good show. That was I watched that a lot, and I think Tony ended up like falling in love with Angela at some point.
Yeah.
Because he always had like you could tell like they always had like some chemistry there, but it was like he didn't want to overstep his boundaries. Some similar to like the nanny. That like Who's the Boss to me was like that was like the male version of the nanny. Except he
Yeah.
didn't have that annoying,
Oh
laugh
yeah,
like Fran
Fran
Drescher. You know what I
Drescher.
mean?
Yeah.
But I like
Oh,
the
Mr.
nanny also.
Garfield.
Yeah, yeah. The nanny was. I used to watch that too. I like that show. But yeah, Who's the Boss is definitely one of my favorites, and like I still could watch it now. You know what I'm saying? And that was a great show. So that's my 42 and 41.
Yeah,
That
Yeah.
lasted 8 seasons also. Who's the Boss? That was
Yeah. Yeah.
Tony and Mona were fucking alone, right?
yeah.
Oh Lord.
Oh Lord.
Hmm. Hmm.
Come on. Let's be real. If Mona was that ass at Tony in real life, he would have just forgot about Angela and just went after Mona.
Hell no. That old lady? Hell no.
No.
I can't see Tony for screwing
No.
her.
No. No. No.
You funny, man. Man.
I did like Tony and Angela, man. But when they got together, I was kind of fell off the show.
You think so? You think the show
What?
fell off?
I mean, it was still good, but
Mm.
the sexual tension was not there no more. Like it's like y'all
Because
got
they hooked
together.
up.
What
I
y'all?
mean, you don't have sexual tension no more if you trying to bag somebody and you finally get them,
Yeah.
Shit. True.
But I understand what he's saying because it could ruin like the show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's
Right.
like he been feeling it for so long that once you actually hook up with that person, it's like it changes the dynamic of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Like with the nanny, same thing. When the nanny hooked up with the dad,
Mr.
it kind of like
Sheffield.
changed the dynamic of the show.
Mm-hmm.
I
You know
agree.
what I mean? So yeah, I understand what you mean, man.
Yeah.
Mr. Sheffield.
Yeah. My number 42 and 41 picks. There are other shows that used to be on during the early 2000s. That on the UPN. One of them was Half and Half, which was with Rachel True and Essence Atkins. Yeah, pretty much it was just based around half sisters who, I guess, their entire childhoods they didn't know that they were sisters to begin with, but they ended up, I guess, forming a relationship like when they are in their 20s. So, but yeah, it ran for like four four years on UPN, and oh yeah, Thelma Hopkins was the elder sister's mom, and Valerie Pettiford was the younger sister's mother. So yeah, it was it was the second most watched show, surprisingly, on UPN's Monday night lineup back in the early 2000s, next to Girlfriends, and I did not know that. But
Over
yeah,
the Parkers?
I yeah, you asked the wrong person. I'm a little surprised at that as well,
I
but
mean,
yeah,
I know
it was an
half
alright
and half of the.
show. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it was yeah. I did not know. I did not know that. And the other one was All of Us with Lisa Ray, Dwayne Martin, Elise Neal, Tony Rock, Terry J. Vaughn on that show. All of Us. Yeah, because that was the show that Will and Jada executive produced
Oh
for
Lord.
UPN. Yeah, yeah. I know because all the stuff going on with
God,
because all the stuff going
there had to
on
be
with
one
them
mention
right
of them.
now. Oh my God. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Besides that,
Oh man.
but it was pretty much the premise of how I guess Will and Jada had to deal with co-parenting with Will's ex-wife. What? Because I remember she was on that show um Hollywood Exes. Yeah, I remember that. But
Right.
yeah, but that was pretty much All of Us was centered around because they were pretty much having a co-parent for the sake of their son. And I guess the series was based upon what was going on with Will and Jada at the time as well.
Mm. Not everything that was going on.
Yeah, yeah, but it was another show that ran on UPN for like a few seasons, but it was all right. It was all right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
because it ran from like 03 to like 06. Yeah.
You know, surprisingly, I've seen clips of All of Us, but I've never seen a full episode of All of Us.
Oh wow. I know they used to air it on TV One a lot.
Yeah, back when they used to air every black sitcom back in the day in Gen TV1.
Yeah.
Now it's nothing but Empire and shit.
If I wanted to watch Empire, I could do that anytime on Hulu.
If I want to watch Empire, I watch an episode that's good. Um, mm.
Yeah, but
But
those
yeah, I
are
don't think I can
my
watch all of
42 and 41.
True. Dope shit. Like I said, I don't think niggas are gonna watch All of Us the same way anymore. To be honest with you, but
Yeah. Yeah.
cause I just can't take Dwayne Martin seriously as an actor sometimes. I'm sorry.
What about when he was on Real Husbands of Hollywood?
I mean, he was making fun of himself, so that's cool. So yeah, but Above the Rim was cool. I can accept
Yeah.
that, but he's an uh, he's a decent actor. I'm just gonna say
Yeah.
if he can
Yeah.
pick them role,
Yeah, because I remember he was on in White Men Can't Jump in that one scene when Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson had to go up against his character and the other guy during that basketball tournament.
right?
Yeah, remember that part?
I think so. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It was in the middle of the movie.
Hmm. I feel you on that. Trust me. But yeah, so that was 42 and 41.
Yep.
Excuse me. All right, now we're gonna get to the top 40. Now this is a sitcom that pretty much laid the ground print for Fox in the 90s or whatnot while it was really getting popular.
Mhm.
A show that needs no introduction, Martin.
Hey.
Yep. The show ran from 1992 to 1997 on Fox, of course. Starred Martin, Tisha Campbell, Paul Anthony Payne II,
Mhm.
Thomas McCall Ford, rest in peace to him,
Yep.
Tashina Arnold,
Mhm.
Garrett Morris, and John Grise. Those two, Garrett Morris and John Grise, was only in the first two seasons, by the way.
Mhm.
Yeah, man, this show is a classic show. Everyone knows this show. Um, yeah, I gotta be real. I gotta be real. Like when it comes to Martin, man, I like the show, but at the same time, I gotta admit the last season was not
Oh
my cup of
yeah,
tea.
yeah. It just went downhill from there. Yeah.
Shit, and it's just like, yeah, just that, and I don't know. I just like those early episodes where Martin used to have a monologue.
Yep.
He used to sit in his radio studio. It's
Yes.
just like the era when he was like a radio disc jockey. Those first two seasons, and I would even say the third season too was just fucking amazing and shit like that.
Yeah.
And just like those seasons the more. I just felt like the fourth season was good, but that was the time they really started being more and more cartoony and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
but not anywhere near like the last season.
Oh God. Yeah. Mm.
But at the same time, it's just like Martin was one of the most creative sitcoms at that time. Just his energy at that time too was amazing.
Mhm.
Um, y'all should know the story with what happened with Tisha Campbell and
Oh
him,
yeah.
which kind of made the last season one of the main reasons the last season was what it was and shit. But yeah, man, Martin's still gonna be a landmark sitcom. What no one says. Number 39 is a show that's it's like another quote unquote female buddy sitcom or whatnot. Laverne and Shirley.
Ooh.
Um, yep. This ran from 1976 to 1983 on ABC. It's the spinoff of Happy Days. This stars Penny Marshall, rest in peace, Cindy
Mhm.
Williams, Michael McKean, very dope actor, David
Yeah.
Lander. Um, yeah, man, like Laverne and Shirley just shows them their life, like in Milwaukee when before they moved to California, excuse me, they were in Milwaukee,
Mhm.
and it was just thinking how they their dreams come true. But then, like by like the sixth season,
Yeah.
some idiot wanted them to move to California,
Mhm.
Burbank to be, and this is one thing I don't like about certain shows when they move locations and
Yeah.
every motherfucking character in the same town moves with them.
Mhm.
I hate when sitcoms do that stupid shit.
Ugh.
And then what's even worse is that the fact that it's like with the California years. I don't want to talk too much about the California years, but it's
Yeah.
like it went from a good sitcom to a bad sitcom to a horrible sitcom. Then once Cindy Williams got fired,
Oh
there's no
god.
way to describe it.
Mm.
Yeah, and also I like the show because of the fact that the physical comedy of the show was very reminiscent of like Lucille Ball and
Yeah.
whatnot, especially like
Yeah.
that's one thing I loved about the earlier seasons, more emphasis on physical comedy and shit. But
Mhm.
yeah, man, it's crazy too because Laverne and the people that play Laverne and Shirley, Penny and Cindy,
Mhm.
in real life they kind of had their disagreements because Cindy was just that Penny Marshall getting all the good lines, so they went after each other. They actually had to
Yeah.
catch each other's lines in the scripts and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, man, like it's crazy,
Yeah.
crazy as fuck. But Vernon Shirley, whether people love it or hate it, it
Mhm.
still will bring a smile to anybody's face and whatnot. So
Yeah.
classic.
Yeah.
I'm listening. I'm gonna get some water from the other room right quick.
All right. All right. All right. My number 40. It was it was a series that originally was on TBS at some point, but they switched it to the Oprah Winfrey Network. Tyler Perry's For Better or Worse, and pretty much that show focuses on Tasha Smith and Michael Jai White's roles as Angela and Marcus. Yeah, that show ran for a lot of seasons, to be real. Yeah, but it I like the fact that like the comedy was just so crazy. Pretty much it ran for 6 seasons. And not only starred Tasha Smith and Michael Jai White, Jason Olive, Crystal Stewart, Coco Brown, Kent Falcon, um, Brad James, and I know in one of the earlier seasons, Bobby Christina Brown was on the show as one of the characters' daughters. Rest in peace to her. And Bobby J. Thompson was on the show as Angela and Marcus's son. But yeah, it was a show that I guess dealt with issues pretty much centered around people who are married or in the process of just getting married or in a relationship trying to figure stuff out. Pretty much that's what I got at the show. And my number 39 pick is another show that I grew up watching as a kid. It used to be on Nickelodeon and it starred two key people from my other favorite Nickelodeon show at the time, which was All That, Keenan and Kel. Yeah. Yeah, Keenan and Kel used to be my show because everybody know Kel's character was just so infatuated with orange soda and used to drive Keenan's family crazy. And of course, the girl who played Keenan's sister had a huge crush on Kel, and Oh my God, that show was amazing because, of course, you saw how their dynamic was when they were on all that for like 5 seasons, but for them to have their own show just spoke volumes of how much of they really do feed off each other, and you know.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
My bad.
You good?
Where we at? Number 40? 40? Yeah.
40.
Yeah,
40.
40 and 39.
I got Alfred number 40. That Alfred was hilarious. You know, having the alien crash land with the family and him moving in with the family and just doing a whole bunch of like antics and shit. And I remember picking up back in the day. They used to have an Alf comic book series. And I
What?
remember, yeah, I remember. I don't have the comic no more, but I remember buying that because I used to go to on Saturday on the weekends. I used to like do baseball. Like I was in little league and I did gymnastics and shit. So there used to be like a newsstand like where I used to play at, and I used to always go to that newsstand for like comics and like back when the WWF was like selling like magazines. And I remember seeing that Alf comic at the newsstand and I picked it up and never seen that comic again. But that I was a big Alf fan. Like I never had the plush uh stuffed animal or whatever when I was little, but I remember watching that show and just dying my ass off when I used to come on. I think it was Monday nights. I want to say on NBC.
Mm.
But yeah, that was funny. That lasted 4 seasons, and the number 39 for me would be the Hogan Family. Love that show. Jason Bateman came from that show, and he's still a big star now.
Mm.
And I forgot who else was on that show. Um, that show was actually, I think they switched it. It was called it wasn't the Hogan Family, right, Reg? It was something else.
It was called at first Valerie because Valerie Harper was on the
Right,
show.
right. Yeah, Valley Harper, right. Valley Harper played their mother for Jason Bateman, and I think there was like a younger brother he had on the show. And she left the show, and they put Sandy Duncan came on, and the father was Josh Taylor, and yeah, he had like a younger brother. Really, it was Willie Hogan and David Hogan. David was Jason Bateman, and Louise Daniel Ponce was Willie Hogan, and I remember watching that. I remember watching it when it first started with Valerie Harper, and then she left, and then they replaced it with Sandy Duncan. But I still thought it was like a good show. It lasted 6 seasons on NBC, and it was just like a regular like family with the big brother, little brother issues, and the dad, was like their hero, and you had Sandy Duncan. I don't think she played the wife though. I think she played like their aunt or something.
Yeah, she played the mom.
Yeah, because Valerie Harper played the mom, and when she left, when Sandy came in, Sandy played like the aunt. But it was like your regular family. They had family issues on the show, and it was a cool show. I watched it a lot. So that's another show that I don't hear nobody talk about, but definitely actually the this month July 20th is going to be I want to say 26 years since the last episode was shown.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
So yeah, the 20th is the anniversary for the last episode of the show. But yeah, it was a show that I watched like on the weekends. It used to come on and thought it was a good show.
Mm.
And yeah, so those are like those that's my number 40 and 39.
Yeah. I'm not like really too big on Hogan Family like that, but I know on
Right,
Antenna TV they played that
right,
show and shit like that.
Yeah.
yeah,
I read when Valerie Harper left, it was like a huge controversy.
Mm.
and whatnot when she left.
What controversy she had with the show?
Pretty much, oh damn, where do I even begin? Pretty much, he didn't like, cause you know with Miller Boyette, they're known for shows like Family Matters, Full House, like the
Right.
Yeah.
whole cheesy
Yeah.
family ordeal kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Valerie Harper didn't want the show to go that route because you know with Family Ties at that time, Michael J. Fox's character was at the breakout character, and she didn't want a teen overshadowing her,
Right.
aka Jacob Bateman.
Right.
Also, she tried to sue to get out of I think she wasn't even getting enough money either, so she tried
Oh,
to sue to get out of her contract
Mm.
and whatnot too. So, yeah, y'all know how that goes and shit like that.
right.
Mm.
Like it was.
So
The show. The show was. I feel like the show was bigger when Valerie was on there, and then like when she left and they brought in Sandy Duncan, it took like a different turn, but people still watched it. But it wasn't the same after Valerie left.
yeah, because I've heard a lot of people even say that they like Sandy Duncan, the Hogan family,
Right.
the Sandy Duncan whatever version more.
Mm,
I've heard a lot of people say that too. So
right.
I mean, I like I watch it once in a while, but
Right.
I've never really watched too much of the Valerie episode as much as the Sandy episodes.
Right. Right.
Because you know,
And is
and to
isn't it ironic how that Valerie mentioned not comparing it to Michael J. Fox and Family Ties, and then Michael
Mm.
goes off to do Teen Wolf, and then you don't come back with part two. Instead, they replace him with Jason Bateman. That's
Mm.
ironic,
right, that
And
is
Teen Wolf the two didn't
Crazy.
do good, so
Mm.
yeah,
that is ironic as fuck.
Yeah.
should listen to Valerie.
But yeah, and then like I know a lot. I know like with Valerie Harper, rest in peace to Valerie Harper and shit like that. A
Right,
lot of people say her career never was the same after that whole thing.
right,
Mm.
I mean, yeah, she still was successful, but it was like her career was like not really the same after that and shit. But
right.
it is what it is.
Mm.
All right, number 38. This is probably like one of the most iconic sitcoms that come out in the 70s and today. You know, this is a sitcom that you know was one of the first of its kind when it comes to like a African American family. I'm gonna talk about Good Times.
Yeah.
The show Good
Oh.
Times, yep, ran from 1974 to 1979. Yes, starring Esther Roll. It's a spinoff of Maude, but at the same time, there's some controversy behind that and shit like
Mm.
that because of the fact that it was said that Eric Monty was working on this before Maude, but it's like a lot of controversy when it comes to that and shit like that. But I call it a spinoff of Maude, which was a spinoff of All the Family, starring Esther Roll, rest in peace,
Yeah,
John Amos,
yeah,
rest in peace to Janae Dubois, Ralph Carter,
yeah.
Bernadette Stannis, Jimmy J.J. Walker,
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
of course, you know, Janet Jackson when she played Penny,
Yep.
and Johnny.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I said, I've done a review of Good Times in the past and stuff like that, but I'm not going to say too much. But for one, I'm going to say, very funny show. This was like part of the whole Norman Lear vibe and whatnot. The James year, the first three seasons are the best seasons and shit.
Yeah.
After John Amos was fired, that's when the show went downhill, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Um, yeah, man, like I just felt like this show was definitely. I feel like it's definitely misunderstood a lot because I know a lot of people say, "Oh, Good Times," just about the family surviving in the ghetto, but it's like it's much more than that. It's just
Mm-hmm.
them trying to like make ends meet. It's them like despite all we might not have enough, but we
Yeah.
still have family, we still love
Right.
and whatnot. You know, and, um, very, very, very dope show. I'm not a fan of the Keith character like that. Maybe Ben Powers, he did think his role, but I just felt like I don't know. I'm just gonna say this once and once for all. Any episode that they have Velma in, they always make the character fall in love with somebody. The majority of the episodes and shit. I'm gonna say that shit right now.
Mm.
And it's crazy because I met Bernadette Stanis not too long ago and shit, on a concert and stuff like that too. Because
Yeah.
she's releasing a book and stuff like that too, and shit like that too. So yeah, a very nice lady, whatnot. Shout out to Bernadette Stanis. So that's fucking good times at number 38. My number 37 pick is Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh wow.
Dun 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 dun. That theme song for it's a character by itself. Like it stars of course Larry David. It runs from 2000 and it originally went on a hiatus in 2011, but it came back in 2017 and stuff like that too. And it's still going strong to this day. Starring Larry David, who you guys should know is the creator of Seinfeld, and you know it also has Jeff Garland, Cheryl Hines, the funny Susan Hessman, um, Ted Danson is in this show too. Yeah, James Smooth is in the show. Leon, man. Yeah, this show right here is like a more darker Seinfeld. That's the way people describes the show. Larry just does not give a fuck about what he says. It's one thing I've always loved about Larry David. Like he'll find an argument with every little thing. Like, but sometimes he'll bring it to himself. But the other time when people be a dick around him and shit like that. Yeah, man, it's crazy too because you know I love when actors and actresses they improv, ad-lib their dialogue and whatnot, and you can just really tell how well these cats improv with one another and whatnot too and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like one of my all-time favorite episodes was when I want to say Larry was dating this handicapped chick, right? This girl in a wheelchair, and next thing you know he meets another girl in a wheelchair, and he sees the two wheelchair girls at the same time. I kid you not. So he's at the restaurant, and Ted Danson had a pie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was gonna make Larry eat the fucking pie, and and then pretty much he's just getting all mad at work eating the pie, like eat the fuck pie already and shit, like just getting all mad and shit. Oh my god, like very, very funny ass show. Like it's Seinfeld to the extreme. That's the best way to put it. And that's one thing I've always loved about the show. Oh man, and I love when even say they like the show better than Seinfeld too. To each his own.
What we up to? 38. 38 for me is In the House. Like this show. LL Cool J. This is like Mr. Smith, LL Cool J at that.
Right.
Same year that this show came out, the same year he dropped Mr. Smith. He played like a ex-football like he became a nanny with and he was helping out Debbie Allen playing. She was like a divorced wife and her two kids, and Maya Campbell was her daughter. I forgot the other kid name. DJ Daniels, I think that was his name. He played. It was Rodney. That was the son, Rodney. I forgot the little boy's name.
Jeffrey Wood. Jeffrey Wood.
Jeffrey Wood. His name not here. That's what it was. Okay. Well, his name is not on the. His name is not on the feature on the cast, but Alfonso Ribeiro again. He played the doctor, Dr. Maxwell. He was on the show, and I don't remember his
And
character.
Kim Wayans.
Kim Wayans was on there. She played Tonia Riley Harris. Um, and it was a good show. This was like after Bel Air, so you had Carlton go from Bel Air to In the House, and
Yeah.
I thought it was a good show. It lasted 5 seasons. I thought it lasted less than that though, but
Mm.
I think LL Cool J did the theme song for the show too, right? Am I mistaken?
Yeah.
No.
Hmm.
Definitely a
Mm.
good. This is like beginning of LL's acting career,
Yeah.
and I thought it was an underrated show. It definitely don't hear too many people like mention it or whatever.
Mm-mm.
And what's the other one? Number 37 would be Bewitched. That lasted 8 seasons. Bewitched is about a guy that Dick York played. He played Darren, and he got with this witch named Samantha Elizabeth Montgomery, and um they fell in love, and they had a daughter, um Tabitha, and the mother had powers. And her mother also had powers, and Dora, played by Agnes Moorehead. And it was like he basically fell into this family that was a bunch of witches. And when him and Samantha had Tabitha ended up having powers as well. And he was a New York ad executive, Darren. And I just remember like watching it when I was little, like the black and white version and the colored version. And
Mm.
um his wife Samantha used to do like all kind of like stuff using her powers, and her nose used to twinkle and shit. You
Hmm.
it was just funny. It was just a funny show. They did a I want to say like they did like a movie, like a reboot movie. I think
Yeah.
Nicole Kidman played
Yeah.
Samantha. I
Mm.
didn't watch it though, but I heard it got like bad reviews or whatever. And yeah, man, that was the '60s, man. It came out in '64. It lasted 8 seasons, and I watched it in syndication. But the final episode actually was in 1972. But the actual episode, the last episode, was on my birthday. But this is before I was born. It was March 25th was my birthday, but it was actually March 25th, 1972. That was the final episode.
Oh.
But and then they had a spinoff. They had a spinoff with Tabitha. But I think everybody is dead. I think Samantha's dead, Darren and Dora. Samantha's the Tabitha's the only one that's alive, I think, because
Oh.
um she's
Yeah.
actually like 52 now or something.
Mm.
She's like 52 now, so she's like the one that's still alive from this show. Everybody else is gone. But yeah, this was like one of my favorites, like growing up. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I didn't care for the reboot though. I didn't watch that, but this was a good show.
Mm. Yeah. My number 38 is the Brady Bunch.
Love that show.
Yeah. Anyone who knows that show, because I know when I was a kid, they used to show that on Nick at Night sometimes, and yeah, I know my folks grew up watching this show as well. I'm pretty much anyone who doesn't know this show, it pretty much involves um this man named Mike Brady, and of course the mom as Carol,
Right,
and they each have three kids, and they got married, so now they have a combined family of six in
right,
all. And of course, in order to maintain this household, they have their housekeeper,
right.
you know. Yeah.
Alex.
Yeah, yeah, Alice. Yep,
Yep,
yep. Rest in peace
yep.
to the man
Alex.
who played Mike. Yeah, the Alice. Rest in peace to Florence Henderson who played Carol
Uh-huh.
Brady, and rest in peace to the man who played Mike Brady on the show.
Right.
Robert
Yeah,
Reed.
yeah, yep, yeah. So pretty much the only remaining cast now are
The kids.
those who portrayed the children.
Yep.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. But my number 37 pick is Blossom.
I love that show. That's on my list as well. Love that show.
Yeah,
I
Blossom.
never got
Yeah.
Blossom.
You never got into Blossom?
Mayim Bialik. You ain't like
That's
it?
like another one of those preachy shows that every episode was a very special episode or some shit.
Right. Well, you know, our family had issues. Like Joey was
Yeah.
on, not Joey. The other brother was like on drugs, on and off on drugs, and
One of her brothers like they
yeah,
was on drugs and
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, to me I felt that was like a good show coming up. Cause I'm pretty sure they still show it in reruns
Mhm.
on I think on one network, I think Discovery Kids or something like that. But yeah,
Oh shit, they so wow.
yeah.
Because I know that
Last time I checked,
wow.
yeah.
That used to be the hub, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. The Hub. I remember that.
Yeah, yeah.
I love the hub, man.
Yeah,
I was so mad they took that shit off.
yeah. That was
Yeah,
good.
it's gotta be one of the networks now. Yeah, they air reruns of it on that.
All right, pretty dope, pretty dope, pretty dope. All right, we at number 36, right?
Yep.
All right, my number 36 pick, Happy Days.
Ooh.
Yeah, the show. Everyone knows about Happy Days. Like the show ran
Yeah.
from 1974 to 1984. Um, starring Ron Howard, Henry Winkler,
Mhm.
Tom Bosley, Marion Ross, Esther Williams, Johnny Mose, Aaron Moran, Scott Baio, Pat Morita, Al Molinaro, so on and so on. Where do I begin with Happy Days? Like one of the most influential sitcoms of all time. It's supposed to have taken place in the 50s and 60s, but then most of the cats are wearing styles from the 70s and 80s and stuff. Um, Originally, it was not even filmed for a studio audience, but by the third season, they had a studio audience. That was the airtime whenever Fonz would walk in and the character walk in, they would plop like 30 seconds. Like that, as a kid, that was always one thing I always tripped me out about this fucking show. Like
Right.
whenever a motherfucker would just come in and the whole crowd would go crazy and shit like that, and then certain kids will come in and nobody will go crazy for them and shit.
Yeah.
But this is a show that birthed many shit that we still use in sitcoms today, like
Mhm.
Jumping the Shark, um, the Chuck Cunningham syndrome, and whatnot. Whereas a prominent character would just disappear without explanation. Um, yeah, man, like this is a very cool show. In my opinion, I was more of a fan when Ron Howard was on the cast and some stuff like that. But Happy Days, it is what it is. Um, yeah, man, like there's some parts I don't even care for with the show. Like I never cared for Chachi. I'm sorry. That wow wow wow. I never cared for
Yeah.
Chachi.
Johnny and Chachi.
First of all, y'all know Chachi is Italian for dick, right?
Wait, what? Wait, what?
Y'all know
What?
Chachi. I said y'all know Chachi is Italian for a big dick, right? I'm not even lying. I'm not even lying. Like that's
Oh
why Chachi.
my god.
That's why Chachi is so popular in Italy and shit.
Mm.
Oh,
Oh my
But
god.
yeah, that's some interesting facts for y'all.
Yeah.
Um, Number 35 is Everybody Loves Raymond.
Oh wow.
I used to watch that once
Yeah,
in a blue.
I think my
I,
dad.
I just watched.
I think my dad watched that.
Yeah.
I just watched the whole series not too long ago.
Oh wow.
The show ran from 1960 to 2005, starring, of course, Ray Romano, Patricia Heaton, Brad Garrett, Doris Roberts, Peter Gold, Michael Horan. Like this whole fucking show, in my opinion, it's like reminiscent of like those old vintage sitcoms, like Dick Van Dyke and On the Family. one thing I've always loved about this show, like it's talk about families. It's a family, regular model family, but it only had like one plot. Like each episode only had like one single plot. That's the one thing I just recently noticed about this show too. You know, certain sitcom they always have to have like two plots just to keep people interested. But
Right.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, man, I felt like the show the latter seasons, like seasons maybe 4 to 9 or 4 to 8, you know, were some of the best seasons because you know the early episodes are trying to like find grounding and whatnot. Um, yeah, man, definitely like one of those few shows where everybody can honestly say like never really jumped the shark and
Right.
stuff like that. Rest in peace to Doris Roberts. Rest in peace to Peter Gold. Also, rest in peace to I think his name the kid Sawyer Sweeten. Yes, rest in peace to him too, because he committed suicide a couple years ago too and shit. So
Oh.
yeah, yeah, man. But Everybody Loves Raymond is definitely one of my favorite all time favorite sitcoms of all time and shit. Just vintage shit.
Wow. And they did a spinoff. The wife, was it Patricia? I forgot her last name.
Keaton.
She, I believe they have a spinoff for her now. Like she's working in like the hospital or something.
Wait, that's a spinoff of Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yeah,
Really?
supposedly it's supposed to be like yeah, like her character's supposed to be like from that show when she have her own. They gave her like her own spinoff show or whatever.
Huh.
Oh wow.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, number 30 was it 36 we had? 36 for me is Small Wonder. Another underrated 80s show, lasted 4 seasons. It's about the 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 father of this family. He's like a robotics engineer, and he created a robot in a human in designed as a human, as a female, and passed it off as like his adopted daughter named Vicky. So
Hmm.
like to the neighbors, everybody, to the outsiders, not within the family, they think that Vicky is their adopted daughter, but it's really a robot. But the family, like the little brother, Jamie Lawson, him and Vicky become close, and he brings Vicky around his friends and around at school or whatever. Like if he ended up like getting into like trouble at school, like being bullied or whatever, he would take
Hmm.
Vicky. I think Vicky actually went to the same school as him
Hmm.
because they were like, I think the way that the father designed the robot, it was like she was like around the same age as Jamie. So I think she used to go to school with him, and she would bail him out of trouble and beat up the bullies for him and stuff, and do all kind of like stuff with her, with her powers as a robot. And then like, she would open if the mom needed help, like opening up like a can of vegetables, she would help the mom in the kitchen and all that. And that was a good show. I actually grew up watching that show, and it didn't last too long. The girl that played Vicky, Tiffany Brissett, she's 45 right now, so she's living in California.
Hmm.
She still has the same face that she did when she was little. Um, but yeah, definitely a funny sitcom. That I think that used to come on Fox back in the day. Um, no, I wanted to say something else about it though, but yeah, but that was a good show. But my number 35 for me was Webster. Rest in peace, Emmanuel Lewis. Another show that I grew up watching that lasted 6 seasons. Huh? Yeah, he died.
Emmanuel
No,
Lewis.
no, 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 no. Is
What?
he? Is he? My bad. No, he's not dead. My bad. My bad. I thought he
Oh.
had
Oh
passed.
shit.
Oh, I was
Okay,
getting ready to say,
I'm
man.
getting, I'm getting confused
Oh,
with him and Oreo. My bad. My bad.
Oh,
No,
wow.
you good?
Emmanuel Lewis. He's from Brooklyn actually. Brooklyn's own Emmanuel Lewis. The day that he was born, he died the same day that Biggie died. That March 9th.
Oh, wow.
You know, of course, it's different years, but he died. His birthday is actually the same day that Biggie died.
Oh,
But yeah, Webster lasted 6 seasons, and the story with that is like Webster, he had lost his parents in a car accident, and the father, his father was like friends with like um his teammate was like some like wealthy. He played
mm,
his father played football, and his teammate was like a wealthy white guy. So the wealthy white guy took him in, George Papadopoulos. He took him in, and he had his wife was like a socialite. They were ritzy white people,
yeah,
and that was basically the story. And then like George ended up becoming like a sportscaster, and Catherine was like an accomplished family psychologist. So it was like they took in Webster, the orphan black kid, into their home, and it was cool. It was a cool show. You know what I'm saying? Even then, watching it like as a young boy, it was like weird. Like why? What is this black boy doing with a rich white family?
yeah,
But um, it was cool, and I think they show in the show they made it like they showed George and Catherine actually cared about Webster, so it wasn't about his color. But
Right.
back then in the '80s, it was all about that. Even though people didn't want to talk about it, but I thought it was good. I thought it was a good show, and I remember there was a Michael Jackson book I had back in the '80s that I got for Christmas as a little boy, and I remember like seeing through the pictures like Webster not Webster, Emmanuel Lewis hung around Michael Jackson a lot, and I
Right.
want to say his name came up in the child molestation case in the first time out.
what?
But I'm not sure. I know because at that time, like the first the first time Michael got charged with that, like Macaulay Culkin name got brought up because he was
Yeah,
friends with like they met like the media was like trying to smear his name, so they looked back at like all the child stars that Michael was cool with, Macaulay Culkin, Emmanuel Lewis, um,
Corey Feldman.
huh?
Corey Feldman too.
Corey Feldman,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Corey Feldman
Corey
was friends with
Feldman.
him. So um Emmanuel hung out with him a lot. There's a picture in that book where he
Yeah.
actually was holding Mike was at this dinner, and he was holding Emmanuel Lewis like that was his kid, like in his arms and shit. So
Hmm.
um I remember that. But Webster was a good show though. I actually liked it. I came on ABC back in the day, and yeah. So that's my number 35 for me.
All right. My number 36 is the Carmichael Show.
I watched that once in a blue. That was actually good.
Yeah, yeah. That I admit that was a good show because they had the show on Hulu, and I watched the whole series from beginning to end. Even though it was only on the air for like 3 seasons,
Right.
that was a very good show. I mean, you not only had Gerard Carmichael, but you also had David Allen Greer on that show, Loretta
Right.
Devine, Tiffany Haddish, Little Rel Howery, and what's the woman's name? Amber Stevens West. I mean, come on, to me that was a very great show. I mean, I felt like that show could have been on the air a little bit longer than 3 seasons, but it is what it is. So anyone who hasn't watched it, try to at least. I don't know if Hulu still has the series up there, but if it's on any streaming services or by any means, go ahead and check it out.
Right.
And my number 35 pick was Cheers.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah. I remember they used to play that on Nick at Night a long time ago as well. I mean, yeah, yeah. Ted Danson, Shelley Long, Kirstie Alley, Rhea Perlman, Kelsey Grammer. I mean, come on, you can't get no more of an incredible cast of people than that. Like, let's be real.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then
Yeah,
too,
man.
that show got people a chance to see Woody Harrelson do his thing on TV.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do you prefer the Diane years or the Rebecca years?
What was it?
You prefer like the Diane or Rebecca years?
Oh my god, that's hard, man. That's hard.
It is. It is.
Yeah, because it's like, dang, like there was so much chemistry between Ted Danson's character along with Shelley Long and with Kirstie Alley as well. It's like, dang, how can you really choose?
Right.
That's really
Right.
hard.
Shit.
But hey, if it
That's
was up
one
to
thing.
me, yeah, if it was up to me, I'd have to go with I'll have to go with Rebecca. I'm sorry.
True. True.
Yeah.
Man, okay. So that was some dope picks from y'all.
Hmm.
I'm gonna leave it back in the '80s, and we're gonna my next pick is gonna be Family Ties.
Nice.
Oh man,
That's it.
this has got to be like the one of the widest shows sung by black people. The thing that sung by black people.
Yeah. Oh Lord.
Like the Hogan family. Then Roberta Flack, she sang the theme song to the Hogan family too.
What?
Mm. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Wow.
This show right here, this show that gave us Michael J. Fox,
Yeah.
starred Meredith Baxter, Michael Gross, Justine Bateman, Tina Yothers, and Brian Bunsell, who played the little boy and shit like that. Um, very very cool sitcom. The way I see it, it pretty much was like initially it was all in the family by like the liberal parents and like the conservative kids, because Archie was conservative and like Mike was liberal and whatnot. So I kind of like the whole theme of the show, but at the same time, with Michael J. Fox being as popular as he was, the middle to later season, that's when most storylines was like focusing on him and stuff like that. But the parents were still like the heart of the show and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Hmm.
Very very dope sitcom and shit like that. You had Michael J. Fox meeting his wife Tracy Pollan, who they're still happily married and shit like that. Can't say that about like a lot of Hollywood couples and stuff or
Yeah.
entanglement. But yeah, like this is a very very funny show, very influential show back in the '80s. If you were to see one episode of the show, the episode A, My Name is Alex, where he goes to see a therapist or psychiatrist or whatever after his friend dies, and he has like a monologue or some shit.
Yeah.
Very, very, very dope episode. So yeah, that's fantastic. Um, my next pick, y'all might be surprised by this next pick, but I had memories watching this show with my dad. It's the Andy Griffith Show.
Oh wow.
Uh, yeah, I know a lot of people will put this show in the top 10 or maybe the top 20, but I'm gonna be really keep it a buck. I'm a fan of the black and white seasons, aka the
Right.
Dynamite years.
Yeah.
I love when this is a show that should have never been colorized, in my opinion. I just felt like Andy Griffith's show was just one of those shows when the black and white to show more and stuff like that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like even Andy himself said that the show was supposed to have ended that fifth season. Um, yeah, this was a very cool show, starring of course Andy Griffith, Ron Howard back when he was known as Ronnie Howard. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Ronnie Howard.
God, yep, Ronnie Howard.
Ronnie
That's his
Howard.
name? Wow.
Yeah, I swear, Ron Howard got to be like the most luckiest child star in sitcom history. He go
Yeah.
crazy, drugs. You never hear no crazy shit about him. Was on two
No,
successful
he got his
shows.
head on straight.
Hell yeah, two successful
Hmm.
shows, and he might
Yeah.
be a director, and he's still married to his wife since the '80s. Come on,
Yeah.
are the golden standard of how a child star should be. The golden
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
shit. Of course, it starred the great Don Nuts, the late great Don Nuts, who Barney Fife, man.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, I love that character, man. That character, he didn't give no shit. Um, Frances Bavier, who played Aunt B. And then you had a lot of people in the cast too. I want to name like Jim Neighbor, who played Gomer Pyle,
Oh
who went on
yeah,
to have
yeah.
Gomer Pyle USMC. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Yeah. You also had yeah, a lot of people in the cast. You had George Kinsey, who played Goober, who was like
Mm.
Gomer's cousin and shit.
Oh
And along
wow,
with
yeah.
um, yeah, man. You had Helen Crump, played by Anita Croissant. I don't even know if I'm saying that name right, but
Mhm.
of course, you had Floyd Lawson, Howard McNear, like and it was based off Mayberry, North Carolina, too.
Yep.
Um, yeah, man. This was definitely a very dope show. Not a lot of people know this, but Andy Griffith's show is actually a spinoff and shit like that. Believe it or not, of the Danny Thomas show. So yeah, man. But all in all, if you want to see the show at its best, I would watch the black and white seasons first. For the colored episodes, you might have to pick certain ones. That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, you know what? My mom and dad both watched that show, and they like the black and white seasons way more than the color ones. They even told me this themselves, so you ain't the only one.
Right, because like, and even Andy was like more grumpier and shit like that. Like, damn,
Mm.
man, take a chill pill, man. Like, because he was really mad. Because like when Don Nuts left, like he didn't want to do the show no more and shit.
Right.
Oh.
All right. Number 34 for me is Mad About You. That lasted 8 seasons
Oh,
on
woo,
NBC. Love that show.
yeah,
About a married couple in New York with Paul Reiser and Helen Hunt, and Carol Burnett was on there. Mel Brooks, Cyndi Lauper,
yeah,
Cloris Leachman, and the late great Carl Reiner. Carl Reiner just passed away. Rest in
yes,
peace
rest
to
in
him.
peace.
Mm.
Yeah, this was a good show. I don't think I always planned on watching it. It's just something that happened over time. Like I watched one episode and then it started becoming a weekly thing for me. So, but these like shows like this wasn't really my thing. Like married couples, like Will and Grace, and that wasn't my type of
Mhm.
show. But
Yeah, I didn't
I
care for
watched it and it just became a thing. So I just like one of those shows where I wasn't ever planning on watching it, and then I end up liking it after I watched it. I thought like there's so many things to do in a big city like New York. There's so much trouble and stuff to get into. So I think it was like that backdrop was good for the setting of the show and having like both Paul Reiser's character and Helen Hunt's character married to each other, and it just worked. You know what I'm saying? I know they're doing a reboot of the show or something.
What?
Yeah, they're supposed to be doing like a reboot. I don't know how true it is. Supposed to be doing a reboot of the show, like because they end up having a daughter, and then like I guess like the daughter's grown up now, and it's gonna be like shows with them and their daughter, their grown up daughter from college or whatever. But I just think it's not gonna be the same.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a good show. I definitely enjoyed that one. Um, yeah. What's the other one? Number 33 for me is Perfect Strangers on
okay.
TGIF ABC back in the day. That lasted 8 seasons. The first episode actually was on my birthday, March 25th, 86. And the story with that, you had a Wisconsin guy, Larry Appleton, that he moved into like his apartment in Chicago, and when he's like he getting his own privacy, and then he ends up finding out that he has a cousin from like some native island named Balky,
Mm.
Bartol Cummins, and Balky was the one that moved in with him, and they started to like become friends, and they got in trouble together. And, Bronson Pinchot, if anybody knows him, he played Balky. He was in a lot of movies, Beverly Hills Cop Part 1,
Yeah.
and Mark Lynn Baker played Larry Appleton. And the one thing I didn't know about this show, surprisingly, is Harriet Winslow was also on this show. And Family Matters,
Oh.
yeah, Family Matters was the spinoff of this show. And what happened was, I don't remember her on the show, but like supposedly like after 2 seasons of Perfect Strangers is when they took Harriet's character from the show and gave them Family Matters, and Family Matters end up outlasting Perfect Strangers. They both came on the TGIF lineup on Friday nights on ABC, but I don't remember Harriet being on the show. But that was actually a spinoff to Perfect Strangers. And yeah, it was a good show. I remember like my grandparents used to watch it a lot. And they end up, I think, like at the end of the show, they both ended up in relationships, getting married. You know, it was a funny show. It was funny. Like Balky, everybody watched it for Balky. I think Balky should have had his own sitcom, because he was like the star of the show. Like, you know what I mean? But it was a good show. Family Matters, I like Family Matters even more than Perfect Strangers. But yeah, that was definitely a good show back then.
You know, I never watched Perfect Strangers. I've seen clips of it on YouTube, but
Right.
I heard people compare it to Laverne and Shirley a lot.
Yeah, it was like the brotherly version of Laverne and Shirley. You know, where like, but Balky was more mischievous than Laverne. You know what I'm saying? Like he was the trouble. He was the one that would always be in trouble, and then it's like they always have to find their way out of trouble because of Balky. You know, but he was definitely the funny one. Like Balky definitely needed his own show back then. You know,
I remember that dance of joy that he
huh?
the dance of joy.
Yeah, he just did crazy shit, man. He was funny.
Mm.
You know.
Yeah, my number 34 is Laverne and Shirley, but since it's already been mentioned numerous times tonight, I'm not even going into detail with it. But yeah, it was a very good show for its time, and rest in peace to Penny Marshall, because I remember the show used to be on Nick at Night at some point in time back then.
Yep.
Yeah, but my number 33 is Growing Pains.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Who can possibly forget that show? Because I know it was a big show for ABC at the time, and of course Alan Thicke, Kirk Cameron, Tracy Gold, Jeremy Miller. I mean, and plus in season 7, Leonardo DiCaprio was on that show too. For
Was
those
he?
who didn't know, yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't. Wow.
Yeah, go back and watch season 7. Leonardo DiCaprio was on that season.
Did he play somebody's
Yeah.
boyfriend on there? He played the daughter's boyfriend?
No. He played
Oh, he was
someone
on.
named Luke. No, he played someone named Luke Brower. I don't know the whole
Wow. Young
extent
Leo,
of his
whatever.
role.
Pretty much. That was around the time when a lot of sitcoms from the 80s and 90s wanted to take the Fresh Prince formula, have
Right.
a rough kid from around the streets,
Yeah, and
adopt
take
him
him
so they
in.
can live the way of
Yeah, that's pretty much
Yeah.
what they did.
Yeah. I
Mhm.
remember like when those like Teen Beat magazines came out, and
Yeah.
little girls
Kirk
they
Cameron
would
was
go, yeah,
everywhere.
they would
Yep.
go crazy. I'm like, him?
Oh yeah.
Kirk Cameron? You think Kirk Cameron is sexier than me? Like, you know what I mean? And I was like, wow, that was crazy.
He was like the
You know, like,
epitome of like every girl in America's fantasy.
Yeah.
I mean, you know how people will be like when these teen guys in the show, like, oh my god.
Yo, that was crazy. In the hood, this is like, I'm like, these are hood chicks that like Kirk Cameron. I just thought that was crazy. You know.
I would think they were like Michael J. Fox more than Kirk Cameron and shit.
Yeah, but see, but Michael, he was. I think he was. Yeah, he was loved by teens. I think the older women like Michael too. But Kirk had like
True.
that big teenage following. I'm like, wow, really?
Yeah, the girls are really feeling
He
him
didn't.
like that.
He had
Like,
any tattoos. His ears wasn't pierced. Like, what was so sexy about him?
I don't know.
Hell, what was Marcus Warner at that time and shit.
Exactly. Where Theo was like the hip hop. You know,
Hmm.
the hip
For
hop.
real. Theo was
What they
like
call it?
jamming
The
on
hot
the one.
club or whatever. You know.
Theo was
Oh
like jamming
god.
on the one.
Oh,
Oh shit. That's funny. Well, okay, that's some dope choices right there. So
Yeah.
this next sitcom, you know, when I was a little boy, sometimes this next sitcom, I used to hang out with my friends a lot.
mhm.
Sometimes we'll be hanging out, you know, down the street, doing like the same old thing like we did last week. And so not a thing to do, but just talk to you. But at the end of the day, we're all right. We're all right. And if you guys know that theme song, that 70s show.
Oh man.
That was good.
Mm.
Yeah, man. This show ran from 1998 to 2006. Um, the show stars Topher Grace, Mila Kunis, um, Ashton
Ashton
Kutcher,
Kutcher.
Hmm.
Danny Masterson, Laura Prepon, Wilmer Valderrama,
Yeah.
Valderrama.
Deborah, Deborah Jo Rum, Kurtwood Smith, Lisa Robin Kelly, rest in peace, Kurtwood, Tanya Roberts, Don Stark, and of course Tommy Chong. Oh man, that 70s show is definitely like one of the funniest sitcoms of all time. Taking place, of course, in the 70s. It's supposed to have ran from 1976 to 1979, but the show ran for 8 years. And
Mm.
I know in some seasons that they stayed in the 70s for way too long or some shit, but that's another story for a different day. Um, yeah, man, this is a very funny show, but I mostly like the earlier seasons, like the first 3 seasons.
Mhm.
After that, it was kind of hit on after. Um, excuse me. Just centers around three friends and shit like that. You know, you had Eric Foreman, you know, like the anchor of the show and shit. Um, he loved him some Donna. I tell you that right now. He loved him some fucking Donna,
Mm-hmm.
man. Yeah, the show right here was definitely like very like dope and funny. It was like very vulgar at times and shit like that. But at the same time, it has a heart to it. Well, until Topher Grace left the show, and they brought in Josh Myers and shit. Oh god, that last season should have never happened. Never should have never happened. Never happened. But yeah, man, that 70s show to this day, I watch an episode, I bust out laughing and shit like that. Like so much catchphrases came out like burn, put my foot in your ass, son of a bitch. Everybody knows and identify with one character and shit, you know. So that was that 70s show.
Yeah.
My number 31. Now, if I was to pick a list of underrated sitcoms or sitcoms I feel like was unfairly treated by the network, this show will probably be my number one. It's one of my all-time favorite sitcoms. I've mentioned this show countless times on this channel. It gave us one of the most iconic sayings in sitcom history. As God is my witness, I thought turkeys can fly. And of course, I'm talking about WKRP in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Y'all heard about that show, right?
Yes. I remember. I watched it a couple times, not like often though.
Okay,
I think my
okay.
dad is more
Well,
familiar with that.
Yeah.
yeah. Now, this was a show I didn't expect to like
Mm.
because it's around the time when I was getting to antenna TV, and I was like, "What the fuck is WKRP in Cincinnati?" Like I've heard of it, I never watched it.
Right.
One of the best decisions I made in my fucking life. Like this show was ran from 1978 to 1982. Hilarious show. It was an MTM show
Yeah.
starring Gary Sandy, Gordon Jump. Rest in peace to him. I know a lot of sitcom fans know him. He played a child molester in Different Strokes. Um, Lonnie Anderson, Richard Sanders, Frank Bonner, Jen
Right.
Smithers, Tim Reed, who was Ray from Sister Sister,
Mm-hmm.
and of course Howard Hessman.
Right.
Yeah, this
Head of the
show right
class.
here would just take place. You said what?
Head of the class. He was on that show.
Yep, yep. Robin Givens. That
Yep.
Robin Givens. Shit, man. Um, what was I about to say? Yeah, this show right here takes place like in a. It was based off a real radio station called WKRP. You know, it has Andy Travis character coming in to boost up the ratings and whatnot for the radio show and just all the crazy surreal shit that be happening. I've said a couple of times that this show has been compared to news radio, but I love both sitcoms, but I'm more of a WKRP fan. It definitely has something in it. Like I can't explain what I like about this show. It's just one of those shows like you can watch and it will just take you back to a simpler time and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like a feel good show. Um, yeah, man. And the reason why I say like the network fucked over the show was because of the fact that you gotta remember, this was on CBS and they threw the show around the time schedule so many times that not a lot of people can watch the show consistently. That's why the
Mm-hmm.
ratings were all over the place.
Right.
And you said what?
No. I hear you.
Yeah, ratings were all over the place. And it's crazy too because by the time the show was unceremoniously canceled, it was ranked number 7 in the weekly Nielsen ratings and shit.
Mm.
So, and you know, the network was like, oh, well, we can bring the show back, but it was already too fucking late at that time and
Right.
shit. So, and also another thing too was because of the fact that since the show takes place at a radio station, you know, there's been like a lot of, you know, when the show was first released on DVD, all the music in that first season was been replaced by generic music. But luckily, they fixed all of that once they re-released the show like a couple of years ago. Which I do have the show in my collection too and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, very, 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 very funny, underrated show. That theme song, man, I love that theme song. I'm at WKRP in Cincinnati. That theme song is so smooth and shit, but they were taking a lot of shots at disco.
Right.
Like, they were taking hella shots at disco music at that time too. So
Right.
yeah, man, it's very all my music fans. Y'all should definitely check that show out and stuff like that. I need to do a review on that show one day.
Yeah, I sure I watched Once in the Blue. I remember it. Where we at 32?
Yep.
Yeah,
32 for me. Now this show I know might be controversial because I don't know any black people that was watching this show, but um I liked it. Talking about Roseanne. Roseanne is a show where it was she was basically the star of the show to me. Like Roseanne, you know how Roseanne is with her mouth and everything, and she said stuff
Mm-hmm.
that run people rub people the wrong way. But to
yeah,
me, like observing, like watching that show for so many years and observing it, it was like watching like poor white trash. And I'm
yeah,
I'm not trying to sound racial. I'm just saying like watching it, it was like watching like I don't want to even say the Langford. I think it was what like Midwest. So like Midwest,
yeah,
like
man.
a poor white trash family that was struggling to make, well, not struggling to make ends meet, but like they wasn't rich, you know what I'm saying? But they were like
Mm-hmm.
middle class to poor white trash, and you know Dan was like the hardworking husband with a bad temper. Roseanne basically was playing herself on the show. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? She had her wisecracking jokes, and you know her she said a lot on that show. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
if you didn't really know who her personality and who she was, a lot of the stuff that she said would have went over your head.
Yeah.
And you know they had the three kids, DJ, Becky, and Darlene.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Sarah
DJ
Gilbert, who
though.
played Darlene, she's on the daytime talk show. I forgot the name of it, the True or the Talk, something like that. She's
Yeah.
on there. You had the Roseanne's uh, 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 bisexual sister, Jackie, played
Yeah.
by Lauren Metcalf. And I thought it was a good show. I used to like the holiday episodes. I think like when you like you know when they had like a Halloween episode or Christmas episode, like they went all out. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it was like a family that was celebrating the holidays like a normal family would, but they went all out with like the decorations. I mean, because black people we didn't do that when it came to Christmas or Halloween. Like we wasn't going on top of the rooftop at winter time and hanging up glowing Santa statues and shit. You know what I mean? And or Frosty the Snowman
Mm-hmm.
on a in front of the house because 9 times out of 10 we didn't have a garden to begin with to even put it on the lawn or whatever. But you know, seeing how like a middle class white family was portrayed on TV was interesting to me. So I watched it. Um, it was I think it used to come on Wednesday nights on ABC. It's still on, but it's we all know the story. Roseanne got kicked off.
Yeah.
They made it into the Connor story, and I think it got renewed. I'm not sure if it's coming back for the fall or whatever.
Mm.
You know, my what is it?
31.
Oh yeah, 31 would be My Wife and Kids. Another show that I like. I always like the Wayans brothers. Whether it was Keenan or Damon or Sean and Marlon or Kim. And I've always supported whatever they did when it came to TV and movies. And yeah, this was a good show. It's another a good black sitcom. It came out in 2001 for 5 seasons, and it was probably I want to say like at least for me the only good black sitcom that came out in the 2000s. I mean,
Woo!
from because I didn't like the Bernie Mac show or Everybody Hates Chris
Oh,
or
oh, come on. Hold on. Hold on. I'm sorry. Okay. I'll let you finish out.
this is the only this is the only black sitcom from the 2000s that made my list because I wasn't a fan of like the DL Hewley show and like all those shows. Like to me, like those they were better comedians than they was on their own show to me. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
Like it just like I don't know, like My Private Kids, it just worked maybe because of the cast, because like having Tisha Campbell, like everybody knew Tisha from Martin, and you know what I'm saying, and even the son, George O'Gore the second, he was on New York Undercover back in the day. He played J.C. Williams' son. It just seemed to work with like I've watched all of those other shows, and it just was like Bernie Mac to me was a better comedian than having him on a sitcom. That's how I felt about Cedric the Entertainer and DL Hewley and
I
them. You know
didn't
what I'm saying? But I mean, I know people
now
love
who
those shows. Huh?
I was saying the Hoopty show, that sucked. I'll give you that.
Oh yeah, it did.
I know
Like
people
did you
love those shows, but I just was never a fan of like all of those. Even George Lopez, I love George Lopez as a comedian, but I never watched his show. I never watched his sitcom.
Hmm.
I just felt like it became a trend where they were like getting the hottest comedian, and then they put them with a sitcom. But sometimes it don't always work for them like that. You know what I'm saying? Like it worked for Martin because you know what I'm saying. Like it wasn't gonna work for everybody. Like it worked for Martin to me, and like if you put Eddie Murphy in a sitcom, you think that shit would have worked if it was Eddie Murphy?
Mm.
it depended the writing is good.
Right.
Yeah.
But I know I just wasn't. I didn't care for a lot of those sitcoms that was coming out at that time, and there was a lot of them. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like some of them they end up getting rid of. You know what I mean? But my wife and kids stayed on for a minute. Like that was a actually good sitcom that I got behind because it was like Damon was. I mean, he wasn't like no great actor, but he did his thing. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm,
I just thought it was a good sitcom. Like you know what I'm saying? That's like really the only one that made my list from like the 2000s ever. You know what I mean? Everything else is like from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. But I actually like this one. This one was good, and he was like a father that. Not to say that the other ones didn't care, but it was like when Junior got that chick pregnant.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they dealt with that in a realistic way. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, oh well, you're gonna go off and have an abortion, and you know what I'm saying? Like they tackle that. Like a lot of shows didn't really tackle that. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they tackled it in not of a ghetto way, but they tackled it in a way
Mm,
that was properly handled. You know what I'm saying? That they didn't shy away from it. You know what I'm saying? I think
yeah.
that has to do a lot with Damon Wayans, with his with him as a person. Because I don't think he would have like ran away from that. You know what I'm saying? And they handled it well. I mean, because how many like realistically, how many African American parents that if that was if you went to them, if that was you and you got somebody pregnant, they would have been like, oh well, move Shorty in. They wouldn't have did that. You know what I'm saying? Like they moved in. Junior moved his baby mama in the house with them. You know what I'm saying? Like that, I feel like was they handled that I mean, like if that was a Brady Bunch, that's some shit that they probably would have did. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? But I like the way that they
Yeah.
handled that, like situations like that. They didn't shy away from it, and they tackled it the way it should have been. It should have been tackled. You know what I'm saying? Like Cosby Show. I don't even know if Cosby Show would have handled it the right way. You know what I'm saying? I
I don't
mean,
know.
what I mean? They probably would have like it would have happened to like Denise or Vanessa, and then they would have like you wouldn't have heard about it the week after. Like, oh well, what happened to Denise and Vanessa getting pregnant? They just quietly they put that under the rug. Like, oh well, they're not pregnant no more. You know what I mean? So I just feel like my wife and kids was a realistic black show. Like that's why I liked it a lot.
mm.
You know what I mean? And it was good. Yeah. I could tell Ashley getting tired already. That's
Um.
my 31. Yeah. We have to 32 and 31.
Okay. All right. Yeah. My number 32, I put All in the Family.
Oh wow.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yes.
I was debating if I was gonna put that on. I got some stuff to say about that later though, because yeah, there's some shit that went
Good
on in that show I
powerful.
didn't care for. Even now,
I
that's
mean, hey,
offensive to
hey,
black people.
hey. I mean, there were some episodes I watched. I remember watching certain ones when
Mhm.
it involved the Jeffersons. I know. I
Right,
remember watching that. Yeah.
right.
When Archie and George got into it in one
Mhm.
episode, I'm like,
I
oh
remember
boy.
Rex mentioned that last week.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. That that always had me laughing. Oh my
Right.
god, yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, is anyone from the cast of that show still alive?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Meathead.
Rob
Just
Reiner,
him?
Sally Shutter.
Sally
Okay.
Struthers too.
Okay, it's just them.
Yeah, and the
Oh,
little
They,
girl
oh
that
yeah.
played Stephanie too.
Oh, oh wow. Yeah, I wasn't too sure if there was anyone else still living because I know the dad's been gone for a minute. So is the mom.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, rest in peace to both of them. Yeah. But my number 31 pick is the Dick Van Dyke Show.
That's your show, Reg. I couldn't stand that
Da-da-da-da-da.
show.
I mean, who does not know who he is and the fact? I mean, I've been familiar with Dick Van Dyke because I remember first time watching him in Mary Poppins, and I still have that movie on tape. Yeah, and then too, I know my mom watches a show that he did years ago known as Diagnosis Murder. She still watches that show to this day. Yeah, But yeah, it's just a lot of stuff that. Yeah, but then too, I remember Reg sending me a clip of the show, and pretty much like I don't know, like a series of clips of like pretty much him falling all over the place. And it was just a mess, man.
Oh, ball, like
That show had me rolling because because I remember there was one episode I saw that my mom was watching, and it was one when involving his character getting hypnotized, and yeah,
oh,
yeah.
oh,
That had me rolling. I'm like, oh my god, he messed him up, man.
oh my god.
Yeah,
Okay.
that one, that one, I can never forget that episode. Oh my god. Mm.
Oh man.
Yeah, those are my picks right there.
Okay, okay. Hey, okay, okay, definitely. Like Tri said, I have a lot of things to say about fucking
Mm-hmm.
All in the Family, but you know, had a long talk the other day.
Oh,
Had a long talk the other day about Archie.
yep.
But yeah, okay, I respect you for putting Dick Van Dyke and shit like that because see, certain comedians like Dick Van Dyke and John Ritter, when they be
Yeah,
busting their ass, I just be
yeah,
like, hey, like. It takes a physical comedian to bust
Yeah.
their ass and make
Yep.
that shit like an art stuff like
Yeah.
that.
yep.
Shit. Hell, I would even throw Jaleel White, Steve Urkel there too.
Right.
Yeah, because we know how. Mm,
He was a klutz.
oh yeah,
Yes, I'm loving this right now. I'm loving this shit right here. I'm loving this. All right, so we at the top 30. So we almost there, y'all. You know, I'm getting a little tired too, but we almost there. Number 30. Has been several shows that came out of the Fox lineup in the 90s that went on to become cult successes in its own way. You had Martin, Living Single, of course, you had In Living Color. But one show everyone always yeah, fuck it, I can't talk, forgets about Rock, number 30.
mm,
That was good.
Whew! Good times without the clownery. That's the best way to describe this show.
Mm-hmm.
As far as Charles S. Dutton, Ella Joyce, Rock Carroll, and Carl Gordon, rest in peace. And later on, it had Alexis Fields, who was in every Black 90s show at that time and shit like that. So,
and she's also Kim Field's sister.
Facts. Mm. Stars it's talking about Rock, who was like a garbage man from Baltimore, living with his wife. His younger brother Joey was like a fucking gambler, saxophone player. And his father, I think he was retired or something. I think he was going through some shit. He had to live with them and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I love this fucking show, man. I think I was just scrolling through YouTube one day. I was like, Rock. There was episode Nightmare on Emerson Street, which was like season the episode when Clifton Powell who's Andre, the drug dealer, he got shot, and everyone thought Rock did it, but it ended up being Heavy D's character. Rest in peace to Heavy D, by the way.
Yeah.
And shit. It was a very, very, very dope episode. And y'all should know the second season of the show, they did every episode live because all four of them had experiences in the theater. And that's like my all-time favorite season of the fucking show because they had episodes like when The Rock was like attacked by the police. It was like the performances was like more realistic. Sometimes I would watch the show, I'll get chills. It'll be like one of the few sitcoms I would just get chills. Like, ooh,
Yeah.
like damn, like, whoo. And they had another episode. Terrence got his gun, whereas I think Alexis Field character, I got her name on the top of my head. Hold on, I got Wikipedia right here. Sheila. Sheila. She had a friend named Terrence who was the actor. I keep forgetting the actor's name. Brendan. He was friends with Merle Santana. He was in Michael Jackson videos and stuff like that. And pretty much he had to buy a gun to protect himself. And usually when they have like a plot like this, you know, they'll have, oh, well, guns are bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they think the guns are bad, but the motherfucker ends up getting shot and killed at the end. Drive-by
Right.
shooting.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it was like a very, very, very cool show. Jamie Foxx was also on the show too. He played Crazy
was?
George.
I did not know that.
I don't remember him.
Yeah, man, it's a very obscure show. Like this is, you know, it had like a lot of people. En Vogue was on the show. Tone Loc was on the show too.
I think I remember Tone Loc.
You said what?
I think I remember Tone Loc when he was on the show.
Yeah, he played a gangster with a heart and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
What wasn't the En Vogue episode? Wasn't the guy dating one of them?
Yeah, Joey.
Yeah, I remember that episode.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Like, and I know I've said this shit for years that I'm gonna do a review on this series. I said this shit for years, but this is the year. I'm put this on my calendar right now. I'm gonna review this show. I'm gonna put the respect on the show because Loki, I've been trying to. I wanted to get an interview with Charles Dutton, but I can't even get reach and shit. So I like, you know what?
He's busy.
Cause you know he does a lot of independent movies and shit like that too.
I haven't seen him in years. And what is he doing now?
Yeah, I can't remember the last thing I saw him in.
Yeah, he still directs. He still produces and shit.
Right.
I know I follow Ella Joyce on Instagram too. So
okay.
Yeah, one day I'm gonna do a tribute to the show. I'm gonna put the respect on Rock because I feel like niggas be forgetting about the show. And there's no DVD release of the show, which is
sad.
Very sad. But you mean to tell me we got how many DVDs of the fucking Kardashians and shit, man? Oh man, but that's Rock. Number 29. Give a shout out to Ashley with this one, The Carmichael Show. Yeah, this is my number 29 pick. Surprisingly, I ranked this higher than Blackish. Surprisingly,
really,
I just felt like, you know, yeah. This show ran from 2015 to 2017. It was unfairly canceled, in my opinion. Starring Gerald Carmichael, Amber Stevens West, Nigga Lil Rel, Tiffany Haddish, Loretta Devine, and the great David Alan Grier. Yeah, man, this is a very cool show. I like the fact that it uses the multi-camera style that was very prominent and shit like that, because I know a lot of sitcoms, you know, since the 2000s specialize in single camera. And even shows with multi-camera, they just have a laugh track. They don't have no studio audience and shit like that.
Right.
This show has studio audience and stuff. Very dope show. It tackles a lot of issues. There was one episode where they talked about the Bill Cosby controversy.
Yep,
they went there. Where they talked about enjoying separating like a celebrity and the public scandal and stuff like that. The show was canceled because of the fact that they did an episode about a shooting at the mall.
Yeah.
You know, because this was based on like the mass shootings that was happening at Virginia and San Francisco, like around 2017. And so, pretty much, excuse me, NBC, according to Gerald Carmichael, NBC wanted to shelf the show and replaced it with an episode called Lesbian Wedding and stuff like that. But that episode ended up airing like the last episode of the third season, and it's crazy too because I think while I was like that same year, a couple weeks after, they were saying, "Oh, the show's canceled and shit." So I was like,
Mm,
"Wow!" But
mm,
it's a very, very, very dope sitcom and shit like that. I would give it a chance. Um, just because the fact that it ran so short, I doubt it will ever be in syndication. So Hulu's the best
mm.
option for y'all to watch the
Yeah,
show,
streaming.
and that's the Carl
Yeah.
Michael show.
Yeah. Number 30 for me is the Steve Harvey Show.
Ooh,
Definitely. I think Steve Harvey is a great comedian. Remember watching him on Def Comedy Jam and the Kings of Comedy movie. And this is one sitcom where I think the comedian actually was good in his own show. He played Steve Hightower, an R&B musician that he opened up once for Gladys Knight and the Pips, and to find work, he became a music teacher at this high school.
Mm-hmm.
And you had Wendy Raquel Robinson who played Regina. You had Merlin Santana who played Romeo Santana. Rest in peace to him. He
Yeah.
died a couple of Cedric Entertainer. You had William Lee Scott who played Stanley. He's still acting now. You had Terry J. Vaughn who played Levita. Um, it was a good show. This is a show that I watched a lot. It lasted 6 seasons. It was very funny. And they had like serious topics on that show, and I thought it was good. I think a lot of people I know like they used to watch that show a lot. So I definitely feel like Steve Harvey show made him a star, and now he's like this bigger than life comedian guy now, and he had his own daytime
right.
talk show, and then they took it off. And then he was hosting the Miss USA pageant, I think it was,
Yep.
Yeah.
and he messed up the girl's name or some shit a couple of years
No,
ago.
he ended up calling the wrong winner.
Oh, the
That's what
one was
happened.
right. That's right. It had something to do with Miss Columbia or something like that.
Yeah, it was that. Yep.
Right. And so yeah. I always liked Steve Harvey as a comedian. Though he definitely is funny. And let me see. Number 29 would be Laverne and Shirley. Love that show. That was like the female version of Perfect Strangers.
Hmm.
And Laverne and Shirley, they played best friends, and they were working at a Milwaukee brewery, and they were living together. And it's just like the adventures daily between them, and they had their best friends Squiggy and Lenny with them. And it was Carmine was their friend as well. They had a dude named
I
Carmine,
never
and
liked
huh?
I never liked Carmine.
You know, like Carmine.
Mm.
Yeah, I didn't really
Nah,
understand his what was his like point on being on the show. Like Lenny and Squiggy I could understand, but Carmine was like the sore thumb. I didn't understand why he was on it. You
I'm
know,
a thug that dances. Like you'll never go
and
from rags to riches.
and they were working at this like for several seasons they were working at this brewery called Shots, and then they lost their jobs at Shots, and they moved to California to become movie stars. And yeah, that was a good show. Like I grew up watching it. They also had a cartoon back in the '80s that came on, but that was
Yeah.
short lived. I forgot what network it used to come on, but I remember watching the Laverne and Shirley cartoon, but that didn't last long. But yeah, the show lasted like 8 seasons, and it was a good show. I liked it. I still watch it now, like in syndication. Rest in peace, Penny Marshall. And like me and Reg talked about, like they had like issues on the set of the show with what's her name with Cindy Williams and Penny Marshall. They were like button heads and all that. But yeah, I still think it was a great show. I you know where I saw them? I saw them on when they used to have the Scooby Doo new the new mysteries or whatever that
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
They did a case with Laverne and Shirley,
Oh
and
wow.
yeah, that's how I saw that. I'm saying I don't think they had their own cartoon. I saw them on the new Scooby Doo mysteries. So they had a case with Laverne and Shirley, and that's like one of my favorite shows, man. Like growing up and watching it, and even though some of the '70s I saw the syndication, but I still will watch it now though. I still like watching it. So
Mm.
yeah,
My number 30 is I Love Lucy.
classic.
Yeah. Yeah,
Love
like
that
what
shit.
can really be said about Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz, man? I mean, come on.
Yep.
Yeah, that show is iconic. I mean, even though, of course, in their personal life, it wasn't all great, but at the end of the day, they were able to still work and put their differences aside and still able to do business and all that. But hey, rest in
Right.
peace to both of them.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my number 29 is In the House.
love that.
Yeah.
We sure. Yep.
Uh, that's it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
no,
it
so
for me.
Okay.
you did 30 and 29.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So 2027, 28, 27. My 28 is the Larry Sanders Show.
Okay.
This was, of course, Gary Shandling's second and his most popular sitcom, in my opinion. This ran from 1992 to 1998, starring the late great Gary Shandling, Rip Torn, rest in peace to him too. Jeffrey Tambor. Who else? Who else? Penny Johnson. Then you had a lot of people was on this show, man. Like shit. You had Scott Thompson. You had Wallace Langham. Yeah, a lot of people was on this show. But this show was pretty much talking about Gary Shandling is playing this character named Larry Sanders, who's like the host of this late night show. This show was way ahead of its time. Like before Curb Your Enthusiasm, before Entourage, this was really like the show where the main character was an asshole.
Mm.
Because I just feel like when it came to like the '90s, late '80s and the '90s, you know how like before that sitcom characters would be like squeaky clean. Yeah,
Mm.
even if like they did do like bad, like even if they were like an Archie Bunker type, they still was like had like a heart and all that shit.
Right.
Yeah, you didn't have none of this shit all throughout this whole fucking show. Like everybody was like an asshole to one another. Like it wasn't like it's like one of those, it's like one of those classic comedies I like. Everyone's just an asshole or some shit. One of my all-time favorite episodes was when Hank, by Jeffrey Tambor, he had a sex tape he did
Oh
and shit like
Lord.
that. And, yeah, pretty much. I think some people from the top stole it and
Mm.
they were playing it, and next thing you know, it was just like Jeffrey Tambor. In my opinion, he made the show.
Right.
Like very dope comedian. I know a lot of people know him from Arrested Development, which was another good show. Which is the show, is that on my list? That's probably on my honorable mentions and shit like that. But yeah, man, like him on Larry Sanders, he was just the sadistical. That he was like the quintessential hater. Like I like you from a distance, but I envy your success and shit like that. Like so fucking relatable. I mean, so many celebrities guest starred on this show, from everybody from Jerry Seinfeld to Henry Winkler to Jimmy Walker. Hell, even Wu Tang appeared on the show too. So
Oh wow.
that's crazy. Yeah. So Larry Sanders Show, 1992 to 1998.
What's the name of the show?
Larry
The
Sanders
Larry
Show.
Sanders Show.
Wu Tang was on there. I missed that.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah, Wu Tang was on the show.
that's crazy.
That was it was like the last season they were on. Yeah.
Right.
Um, Number 27. This is a show where it's like the plot is so ludicrous that it's funny. The Beverly Hillbillies. Uh, yeah, man. This show ran from 1962 to 1971. Starring Buddy Epstein, Irene Ryan, Donna Douglas, um, Max Beer Jr., Raymond Belly, and the underrated Nancy Culp. This show right here was about these country people. Jed was out looking for some oil. Well, look, he was just hunting and shit. Shot something and he struck oil. And of course, they end up getting rich. And it's all these crazy hijinks adjusting to the sophisticated lifestyle of Beverly Hills.
Right.
Oh man, like this is a timeless comedy right here. Like this show right here was one of the most watched sitcoms at the time. But the critics hated this show because it was like ludicrous at that time. Shit, like
Mm.
everyone knows everyone knows Jethro. Like, oh man, like it's crazy. It's like those craziest shows. Like, low key, my favorite character, believe it or not, I like Jane Hathaway, Nancy Culp's character and shit. Like that Mr. Drysdale's secretary, I like that character, my favorite. I just felt like she just had to put up with all the craziness around her and shit like that. Um, yeah, man, I'm mostly a fan of like the early to mid seasons. I wasn't really too fan of like the last two seasons and shit. I just thought the show got really out there and shit, but it was a rural sitcom from the '60s. So what do you expect? So that's the Beverly Hillbillies and shit.
All right. Number 28 for me is Boy Meets World. Classic show.
Ooh,
I watched this show religiously on Friday nights on ABC. The story of the best friends Corey and Topanga, his girlfriend, and Mr. Feeney, the school he was the principal, I think he was the principal.
Yeah.
yeah,
And Eric was Corey's older brother, and
Hmm.
their parents, Amy and Alan, and Sean was Corey's best friend with the troubled childhood, and it followed them from sixth grade to college, and I loved it. I think it was a great show. Mr. Feeney was hilarious. Everybody wanted to get with Topanga, she was a white chick, but she was
with a black
gorgeous.
name.
Yeah, right. Topanga. How you spell that? You know what I'm saying? And it was just a funny show, and just like like growing up from junior high into high school and then college, I think that was um definitely a great show. It definitely I was like a freshman in high school when that show started, so I definitely could relate to that show. And Ben Savage, who played Corey Matthews, he's a younger brother of Fred Savage from the Wonder Years. Another great show
Right.
that I watched a lot when I was younger, and um, it definitely was great. Definitely a great show. It lasted 7 seasons on ABC on Friday nights. And Mr. Feeney, I know Mr. Feeney like even before this show when he was actually the voice of Kit from Knight Rider. I got the first season of Knight Rider here, all 6 DVDs. Love this show. This is one of my favorite shows ever. And Mr. Feeney, a lot of people don't know he actually was the William Daniels. Daniels played the voice of Kit, the talking car on Knight Rider. So that's how I know him.
Mhm.
And yeah, this was a classic show. Like I could watch this. I actually watched the reboot because they did the reboot a couple of years ago on Disney Channel.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, something was missing from it though. It wasn't really the same. I watched like maybe 6 episodes and that was it, and then they end up canceling it. But I think it was Girl Meets World because him and Corey and Topanga had a daughter
Yeah.
and she was in school or whatever. But it wasn't the same. But I watched it because you know, that's the show that I always watch, and I wanted to see how it would be now. But definitely a classic show, and one of the best on ABC at that time. And my number 27 is The Jeffersons, classic show. George and Wheezy, everybody know those are like icons in sitcom, in my opinion. And you know, a black couple that you know was rich and they lived on the Upper East Side, and I love that. I love that show, man. Like I never miss that show. Everybody knows the theme song to that. You know, you had Lenny Kravitz's mom, his
Roxy
real life
Roll.
mom. Yeah, she was on the show. Played on Weezy's best friend, and just a classic show. I love that show. Rest in peace to Sherman Hemsley, and everybody's dead off of that show, right? Weezy is dead, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
except for
Weezy's
Florence
dead.
and Jen.
okay,
Yeah, except for them. Yep.
yeah, 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 that's right. Florence, the housemaid, she was
Yeah,
hilarious.
Marla Gibbs and
Marla Gibbs, right? She was funny, and she was like the housemaid with a mouth. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And she ended up having her own show with 227. Love that show
yep.
as well. Yeah, that's like a great show, and then that was the All in the And I feel like that was better than All in the Family, but that's a whole different discussion. But I mean, I watch All in the Family too, but I'm gonna say my thoughts for that in the second part when we do, because I just feel like that looking back at that show, you know, like I watched it, there's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
racial shit that was going on that show that wouldn't fly today. You know what I'm saying? But I actually saw there was an article I saw on Google actually when I was googling like the information for these shows. There was a Google article about they had like somebody had made like a list of like the ten shows, the 10 sitcoms that wouldn't fly in today's climate, and All in the Family was like in the top three. So that should
That's
tell
good.
people feel the way I feel about that show. So
Mm.
but yeah, Jeffersons was a classic sitcom. So that probably should have been high on my list, but I put it's at number 27 for me. So
Mm.
Boy, you're gonna hate my top 10. Boy.
yeah.
You're gonna hate my. I'm just gonna let you know right now. That should be my top 5. All the family.
Oh man. Wait, see, it's like
Oh
I
God.
I wanted to mix. I wanted to make it more balanced where it's not just the white shows, but it's the our shows as well.
Yeah,
But
same.
I had to pick like from the best of our. I mean, we had some bad shows as black people, but I wanted to pick like the best ones. And I didn't want to just put anything like I wasn't gonna put Malcolm and Eddie on there just because they're black. You know what I'm
Oh
saying? So I wanted to put like the best ones on the list and make it more balanced where it's not just about the white shows. But I feel like
right.
I'll save my thoughts for the second part because there's some stuff I have to say about the black shows though. But I wanted to make it more balanced where it wasn't just about the Brady Bunch and shows like Leave It to Beaver and shit. So it had to be balanced, especially now in this era where it is Black lives do matter and it is about us right now. It should always be about us. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? But I have to balance it out. But not I don't have Leave It to Beaver on my list. I'm just saying like a lot of shows that I grew up watching, they were very white. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't especially in like those shows from like the 60s and the black and white era, and like in the
Yeah.
70s and 80s they were very white, and it wasn't a lot of like black shows that was catered to us, or they try to make us look like buffoons and shit, or we were like somebody's butler. I didn't like that. So
Same.
I had to like go through a lot of these shows from different decades and come up with a list, and I have like honorable mention as well. But you know what I'm saying? I had to balance it out because it was like, yeah, like I love the Brady Bunch. I grew up on the Brady Bunch, and the Addams Family, the Munsters. But I had to include my people's shows as well. But not all of them. Just like the or the ones I feel like that were good, or like the ones that I feel like I watch on a regular basis, like Martin and Freshman's Abilities or shows like that. So
I'm so surprised you don't like Bernie Mac.
I love Bernie Mac as a comedian. I didn't care for his show like that.
Oh man.
Like if Cat Williams had his own show, I probably wouldn't watch it because I like Cat Williams as a comedian. You know what I mean?
Wait, I thought. Oh wait, he did have his own show. Thank God.
Yeah, I don't think he had his own show.
Yeah, I know Flavor Flav had his own show too.
Oh God. What, Flavor Love? Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know sitcom.
Yeah, we all know that.
No, I'm talking about the one that played on my network called Under One Roof.
What?
I never saw that. He had his own sitcom?
Yeah.
Really? Flavor Flav? And I missed it? Wow.
We should do a reaction video. I want to do a reaction video one day.
I gotta look for that now. That lasted what, like 6 shows or something?
I think like 4 or 6 episodes.
Oh God, that was bad.
And his catchphrase was "Yeah, boy."
What year did that come out?
I think 2008.
Oh.
What?
2007. This was around the time he was taking a break from Flavor of Love or some shit.
Oh God.
Did not know that. Wow.
Oh, it was that bad.
Oh my God.
I believe it.
Okay.
Yeah, boy.
Oh God. I can't even picture that right now. Okay. My number 28, The Parkers.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Better than Moesha.
Yeah. Speaking of that, my number 27 is Moesha. Yep. Yeah, for real. Like, even though Moesha was a good show, I am still not over how that final season ended. I'm still pissed about that.
Oh shit! I'm not over how they made Frank a deadbeat dad. Fuck that.
Yeah, that's another thing that kind of, I was like, what? Yeah, I mean, that, like, don't get me wrong, that was a great show with a phenomenal cast. Rest in peace to Yvette Wilson. Rest in peace to Lamont Bentley, man. Like, but still, I still can't get over the way that show ended. And I mean, just the fact that they end up bringing in Ray J midway into the series is just like
that's our brother, you know.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, but
man,
still, like, you weren't expecting that.
Right. Ray J got talent. I think people forgot that when he started doing the crap.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but right now I know he going through some things because I think he in the middle of a divorce right now.
Oh wow.
Yeah, him and his wife.
He owns Death Row Records. He good. He living right now.
I mean, they have 2 kids together, but still, I know it's gonna be hard because they're very young too. So the kids, yeah.
He'll be alright.
Yeah, I hope so. But yeah, those are my 28 and
right, we had 26 and 25.
All right,
this is the round because we about to be 3 hours in and shit. So.
Oh yeah.
All right, so 26, Bewitched.
Ooh.
Man. This was a show that ran from 1964 to 1972 on ABC. I want to say this was like the first successful supernatural show. Because I know some people want to say Mr. Ed. With a talking
Mr.
horse,
Ed was supernatural?
A talking horse.
A talking horse.
That's supernatural?
Wait, okay. Before I get to Bewitched, what was the point of that show?
The talking horse. That was the main attraction. I mean, I just thought that was a stupid show too.
Yeah, I thought that too.
Yeah. The horse was talking. Look.
World
You know what I mean? It's not like he went anywhere.
I
It was
remember
like in the bone all the time.
Exactly. The
I
horse
remember my
didn't go
dad used to
nowhere.
watch that show. My dad used to watch that show and laugh. I'm like, what is so funny about this?
Never
You know
understood that.
what? My mom used to watch that show too. I'm like,
Mhm.
I don't see the humor in this.
Boring.
It's like, shit. Like, oh my God. I mean, if I had a talking horse, I would make some money off that shit. Fuck that.
Right.
But I'm going to say my Mr. Ed rant for later on and shit. But Bewitched, starring the great and late Elizabeth Montgomery, who I feel like does not get the props she deserves at times. Because everyone knows her just for twitching her nose, but she's actually a very dope actress. Dick York, the first Darren, and the best Darren, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because he just had charisma. Like, Dick's, ironically, they were both named Dicks. Like,
I forgot there were two Darrens, until you said that.
yeah, two Darrens and two
Yeah.
Dicks. Like, I'm not just talking about the names and shit. No, pause. But, yeah, man. And ironically, what a lot of people don't know, the second Darren was originally supposed to have been the first Darren.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't know that.
I didn't know that.
Wow.
Imagine if that would have, that show would have been canceled with it.
You think so?
I mean, because like Dick York, like I said, the first Darren, he just had that charisma, that comedic timing.
But why did they get rid of the first one though?
Well, it's kind of a sad story.
Mm.
Dick York's, his back has been hurting him for years, and he kept it in the cast until one day he was doing an episode and he collapsed on the set.
Oh, wow.
So he had to go on a medical leave and shit.
No. I meant like why did they get rid of the original Darren for Dick York?
Damn, why did they get rid of him? I think he had another commitment doing something else, I think.
Right.
But yeah, man, this is another show, Nick at Night, TV Land. Every classic TV channel used to have this on. Like, man, this was a classic show right here. Like, I hate to be biased, but when the new Darren came, I kind of slowly lost interest.
Right.
And like, I know this show had like a lot of tragedy because even like the Aunt Clara, I know she died while on set, and then the lady that played the first Gladys, she died on set too. So yeah, this show I think this show was low key cursed. I'm sorry.
Oh wow.
I'm sorry. I'm not even trying to be funny, but there's certain shows or certain movies I just look at it like, yeah, this some cursed shit right here, like dead ass. But back to the positive. Yeah, this show was very cool. Like, it's like one of those 60s comedies where you can still watch it today. Like, without this show, there won't be shows like Charmed or hell, even Sabrina the Teenage Witch and some shit like that. I mean,
yeah,
everybody want to twitch their nose like Samantha and shit. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I wish I could do that.
My point exactly. Also, Paul Lynn as Uncle Arthur. Oh my fucking God, that nigga was crazy. Man. Oh man, like I might watch some shows later on tonight, man. Y'all done got me having memory lane. All right, and then my last show, my number 25 show. Just sit right back and hear a tale of a faithful
Gilligan's Island.
Yes.
One of my all-time favorite sitcoms. A sitcom I really wanted to put in my top 20, believe it or not. But you know what? I'm gonna say the top 25 for some. I'm surprised y'all with 25 and shit.
Yeah.
This show stars Bob Denver. You know, fresh out of Dobie Gillis, shit like that. Alan Hale Jr., Jim Batkiss, who was on Rebel Without a Cause. Excuse me. Natalie Stafer, Tina Louise, Russell Johnson, and Don Wells. I mean, everyone knows about Gilligan's Island. You come home from school, you watch this show, in the morning. Like it's like one of those shows that everyone knows and stuff like that.
Right.
Just stupid ass humors. Oh man. So many questions I have about this show.
Yeah.
For one, you must be a fucking professor. How come you didn't invent no damn boat to get out the fucking island?
Oh God.
Like you know, professor was fuck with Ginger and Marianne at the same time and shit. I don't give a
Oh
fuck.
Lord.
That's why he stayed in the island all that time and shit.
Mm.
Fucking around with him and shit. That's why he stayed. Um. Also, yeah, man, this was a very dope show. The same dude, Sherwood Shorts, he made the Brady Bunch too and stuff like that. Um, my favorite characters, I love Mr. Howell, Mr. and Mrs. Howell and shit. I just felt like both Jim Backus and Natalie Schafer had that chemistry.
Right.
Like their one-liners were crazy and shit. Like I think one time Gilligan was like, "I got some work, and y'all got some work for me to do or some shit." They're like, "Word, watch your mouth, boy." Like just that silly ass, stupid ass humor back in the '60s that was done right in this show. I used to love when the skipper used to beat the shit out of Gilligan and hit him with his like just oh man. But I don't give a fuck what no one says. Marianne was sexier than Ginger.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm done. Oh,
Definitely. Ginger wore too much makeup.
She was a movie star.
Yeah.
Thank you.
She wore too much makeup though.
She didn't have no fucking ass whatsoever.
She was like the fake Marilyn Monroe. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Well, you know, she had more class than Marilyn. I'm gonna say that.
Right.
She had more class. Yeah, man. Hell, even Miss Howard had more ass than Ginger and shit.
Oh, God.
But yeah, that's it. That's my number 25, and I'm gonna save the rest for tomorrow. Woo!
26 for me is a living single classic show on the best, in my opinion, the best lineup on Fox Thursday nights during the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
After Martin at 8 o'clock would be Living Single at 8:30, and then New York Undercover at 9. Love it. I never missed their shows. They have like a story of like four black African American young women, you know, all like best friends and living together in Brooklyn, and then you had like the two best friends, Kyle and Overton, upstairs. And just a great show, man. It was like they did a lot of crazy shit on that show, and I think I don't want to say it was like geared towards like the female audience, but it felt like that when I used to watch it. Like it was more about like women, you know, topics and stuff. But they had like the male buddies on there, and you know, seeing Overton and Sinclair blossom into like their own relationship was cool. And Maxine and Kyle they loved each other, but they had their issues together still. And you know, Khadijah. I felt like Queen Latifah didn't really like that was like her personality. Like she was like a Khadijah, you know what I'm saying? So she wasn't really playing her character. She's like more like being herself on that show. And Kim Fields playing Regine and the diva out of the group and Spendaholic. And I thought it was funny. Like it was a great show, and it had like many cameos by different artists and stuff on there. Heavy D was on there at one point, and the guy that played Black Lightning, now he was Khadijah's boyfriend on there. I forgot his name.
Scooter.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, like yes, Scooter, yeah.
And, right. It was just a great show, man. Like that was. I know there was talks about them doing like a reboot, but I don't want to see that happen. I think it won't be the same.
Please.
No.
You know what I mean? I don't think it'll be the same.
No.
But that was definitely a good show. And number 25 for me was is Blossom. Love that show. Like Ashley mentioned before, Mayim Bialik, you know, and Joey Lawrence. Everybody knew Joey from Give Me a Break when he was younger. And you know, Joey playing her older brother, and the other brother had like drug issues and stuff, and he had like the dad raising the kids without the mom, and That was a great show. That was good. I used to watch. That came on after Freshmen's of Bel Air on Monday nights, and that was a good show. Definitely enjoyed watching that a lot. And yeah, that's my 25 on the list.
Yeah, my 26 was Three's Company.
Classic.
Yes.
Love that show.
Yeah. It was just something that you would not expect any other show on TV during that time. I
Right.
mean, come on. Yeah, because I mean, come on.
Mhm.
A heterosexual man pretend to be gay, having two female roommates.
Yep.
Like, come on. Who you know really would go through all that?
That wouldn't have flew in today's era.
It would not.
No. But John Ritter's physical timing, it was just be so on point with it. It's just he oh my god, he was just the prime example for physical comedy. I mean, come on. Him, Jaleel White, and Dick Van Dyke. I mean, come on.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, rest in peace to him though, man. Like when he passed away, that was sad.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah. But my number 25 pick is The Golden Girls.
Classic.
Dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun.
Love that shit.
Yeah. When you hear that theme song, you already know because I know
Thank
my
you
mom
for
still
being
watches
a
it to this
friend.
day. Yeah.
Oh, can we start from the bottom now? We here,
I mean, there was a
guys?
lot of memorable moments of that show, and just the characters you cannot forget. I mean, you got Blanche, the Southern Belle. You got Sophia, the sassy one. You got Rose, the dim-witted one of the group.
Oh,
And don't forget about B. Arthur, man. Like, come on now.
Dorothy is my moon, man. I don't give a fuck.
He's hilarious.
Dorothy was the queen. I'm sorry.
Oh
She was
yeah,
the queen.
yeah. But rest in peace to B. Arthur, Rue McClellan, and Estelle Getty, man. Like,
Yes.
yeah.
Man.
I just can't believe that Betty White pretty much outlived her former castmates. Like,
That's crazy.
yeah,
God bless Betty White.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
man. That's definitely had fun doing this. It's about to be
Yes.
2:30 in the morning, so I know you guys are tired. Uh, so definitely tomorrow we're definitely gonna do this. Stay tuned for tomorrow for
Oh boy,
part 2 and shit.
that's gonna be good.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
I know Try's gonna hate my top 5 and shit. Try's gonna hate my top 5, bro.
Oh man, is that bad?
I'm just gonna spoil it for you right now. I'm gonna be on all the family's dick.
Oh wow, wow.
But like I said before, I'm gonna tomorrow at 10 o'clock. I'm gonna be on time tomorrow.
Okay,
Okay.
Stop lying.
okay, cool.
I'm gonna try to be on time tomorrow.
Right,
Try. It was just crazy, but
right.
I'm gonna let y'all get ready to sleep, get ready to do what y'all gotta do because it's 3 hours and shit. So
All right.
thank y'all so much for watching this. Stay tuned for part 2. It's gonna be heavy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your boy Reg in the building.
All right.
Stay safe and stay blessed. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.